And now on Who's Views, it's time for the latest headlines with JT and the Whotastic panel.
Hello everybody, welcome to Who's Views. It's Friday the 2nd of May 2025. It is your big show. It's headlines. It's good to see you. And if you're in the UK and if you are getting Monday off, happy bank holiday weekend. Yes, there you go. Well, I think it's more of an English thing, to be honest. But if you're down there and you're getting that Monday off, because we don't, but have a great weekend if you are. And don't forget, you can stay with us all this bank holiday weekend because we're here tonight. We're here on Sunday and we're going to be here on Monday with you. How's that for you? Fantastic. Well, good to see you all. Another gorgeous day here and around about the UK today. Hope you've been enjoying the weather. Let's hope it lasts a little bit longer, shall we? Because have you heard, everybody? Well, yes. Genius is a confusing flop. We're going to be looking at that. Gatwa is off to the Eurovision. Not really, but sort of. You'll see what I'm meaning. And will this weekend finally be Doctor Who's lucky day? See what I did there? You know it's all coming up for you. It's great to see you in the chat. Come on into the chat if you're out there watching. Come on in and join the discussion. Joining me tonight is Paul. Yeah.
Hello.
Hello to you. How are you?
I'm okay. As my heading says, I'm dreading it tomorrow. Oh no, another one to watch. There we are. Good God. Yes.
Yeah. This one at least is the Doctor Light one, allegedly.
Yes, so hopefully it should be really good.
Yes, hopefully. And it's written by Pete Mctighe, but more of that coming up later on, Who Views, as well, because we're going to start with some... How do you fancy some bank holiday fun then, Paul?
Yes, why not? Why not?
Yeah, because Paul had me in... Literally, about half an hour ago, before we're coming on air, Paul had me in laughing because he sent me this. And this, I thought, was hilarious. This was funny because it just shows you, doesn't it? Well, it tells you a lot, I think, Paul, don't you think?
I think so, yes, yes.
Yeah. Look who's going on the convention circuit, everybody. It's Samir Aryan, who's going to be at the London Film and Comic Con the 5th or the 6th of July at Olympia over down in London. I'm sorry.
It's laughable, isn't it, really? Because, I mean, to be fair, I don't know what else he's done, so I can't criticise him that way. But if it's for one part in Doctor Who, they're really taking the mickey here, aren't they? Let's be honest, aren't they? And how much are they charging? 180 quid a signature and a selfie? What's going on there? Yeah.
I'm sorry, but I this did make me laugh, everybody. This, of course, is the guy that played the fan in, what was the episode called?
Lux.
Yeah. Third Doctor Andrew saying to us who? Exactly.
Yeah. I'm the same, yeah.
Rob
I'll be disappointed, though, if he doesn't turn up in costume with these scarf on. With all the fans queuing up wearing their scarves. That'd be quite funny, wouldn't it?
You don't have to tell who's who.
Exactly. You're blending in. That's the thing, yeah.
And listen, if you're going and you're going to meet him and he hasn't got his costume, say, can you go and get one from over there? Yeah, and send him to the merchandise stalls.
Because you won't recognise him otherwise unless you're wearing a scarf. That's the thing. So.
Isn't that ridiculous? It just says to me, everybody, they're out for money.
Yeah.
Oh, I can see agents, can't you, Paul, saying, do a Doctor Who because you get to go to all these conventions and you can lace people from money.
Yeah, exactly. But it's like, I'm sorry, we may be gullible, but we're not that gullible, surely, honestly, really, you know.
I want to know, who is gullible? Who is going to go and see him? Oh, I'm going to be keeping that. That was so funny, everybody. David Shaw, have you heard Doctor Who will be in the cinema for the 2-part finale? Yes, we have. We spoke about it on Wednesday at the top of the show. David, where were you? But yes,
and there'll be 3 people watching it, I'd imagine. Yes, as well.
Great to see you all. Thank you very much. Evening goals of Woodhouse 122. Julianne is laughing there. Look at that. See that picture she's got there as her avatar? She's done that today in her garden as she's out expecting the grass so that she can touch it, everybody. Posted it on our Facebook as well. That is brilliant. Very spear. Bill Larry is saying FFS, third spear carrier on the left. Lee Smith, unbelievable. And Julia's with us. Hello from Sunny Exmouth. Hello, Julia. I'm glad it's sunny down there with you as well. Fabulous. This has to be self-destructive, says Rob.
Yeah. It's going to ruin his career for a start. If the show's cancelled, then it goes... that he'll be taking off his CV, I'd imagine. Let's be honest.
Very quickly for this little
Yeah,
cameo. Well, no, it wasn't a cameo, was it? It was a bit more than that, but it wasn't much. Duncan the Funky Evans says with Comic-Con is getting desperate. They are, and there could be a reason for that, really. I'm going to say it as well. It's because a lot of the big stars are sadly now all leaving us.
Yeah.
You know, we haven't got many left when you think about it, from us and Star Trek and Star Wars, and from some of those shows, from Doctor Who, Star Trek and Star Wars. There's not many of them right to sit in a room with, to be quite honest, these days. Anyway,
I did notice Vara Dasetu's doing a session in the same event as well.
Yeah, she is. Yeah. I think we mentioned that a while ago as well, didn't we, on the show?
Oh, we did, yeah.
Yeah. Legion of James is saying to us, maybe it's just going to make up the fan attendee numbers. Sheila B in the devotions. Are you having a laugh? No, it's true. Honestly, it's true. Yeah. Sheila B. Absolutely.
You couldn't make it up. Let's be honest.
I'm sure there might be some more surprises coming, isn't it? Eh? I watched Doctor Who once. You can meet me in Hall B, said Robert Payne. It is. Honestly, I'm sure it's down to money. That's all it will be. Mark Green's high piece. There you are. Look at that, Paul. I think he'll be charging for his autograph.
Yeah. He will be. And a selfie. I mean, he won't be charging with £180 that Ncuti was charging, 150. I did see E. McDermott from Star Wars, the one I went to last time in Edinburgh when I saw Peter Davison. He was charging £90, you know, and he's a big star. You know,
E. McDermott's huge.
Yeah.
Look at all the Shakespeare he's done in his time.
Exactly. I mean, of course, in the little film called Star Wars, he was in as well. Remember that? Yeah.
Do you know he got a great gig then, didn't he, Mr. McDermott? Because he did one film back in the 80s and then suddenly gets all these others off the back of it. That was good, wasn't it?
He's really good, though, isn't he? He's really strong. He's really nasty. A good villain, you know.
Yeah, he's a great villain. Absolutely. But that was a lucky stroke, wasn't it? Hey, good for him, though, I tell you. Yeah. I wonder. I believe Polish will be there too, says Peter Harrington. It wouldn't surprise me.
He's got a spin-off series. I bet he is. Yeah.
Although, can you imagine that? Or 25 minutes to just polish it.
Sponsored by Mr. Sheen. That'll be
exactly that. Sheila B. No idea how much he's going to charge for his autograph, but let's keep an eye on it because it is funny, isn't it?
Yeah.
And Marine Boy 1966, you say that Mia has done nothing, but what's the bet someone will put him down as the new Doctor? Huge, isn't it? As we are today on the 2nd of May.
That wouldn't surprise me, would it? You know, the way they cast them nowadays. You know, as much as I like Peter Capaldi coming back after being and Colin Baker, it gets really lazy when they can't find someone else. You know, I mean, look harder. Exactly. You know,
exactly. Juliana saying to us, I had a conversation at the bar in a hotel at Manchester Con with Sylvester. Would anyone like my autograph? Is that what he said?
And he wasn't charging then, I bet, as well. Yeah.
I bet he weren't. That is quite funny, though. Anyone want my autograph? No,
nobody. No.
Oh, it's great to see you all. Woodhouse 122. I won't be paying to watch the new Thunderbolts movie at the cinema, let alone Docky Who. I can't stand that term, Docky Who.
Yeah,
I'm glad I'm not alone. Hello, Sadeko 24, and hello to Charger Malazor. Do they charge for autographs now? LOL.
Where have you been?
I know. We were so lucky, weren't we?
Oh yeah.
You know, to be around when they didn't, and you know, with the big giants of our show as well.
The sad thing is, I've got Tom's autograph. I never paid for it, but it's worth its weight in gold. It really is. Yeah,
exactly. Duncan, the Funky Evans. I miss the good old school Panopticons in Coventry. They were fab, weren't they?
Yeah.
Those Panopticons. Oh, Dominic did a great job with those Panopticons, didn't he?
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Good for him. And Daryl, hello, Daryl. He was the vicar in the Likely Lads film. That's what I know him from. And is he the one that was also in It's a Sin or something as well? Did I hear that? Did one of you tell me that in the chat the other week?
Was he?
I don't know.
I know the Isaac Newton character who actually played that was in It's a Sin.
I remember him. Yeah, because he was one of the leads, wasn't he?
Yeah.
And we thank you for your super chat, Mark Greaves. You do realise that the mop from Joy to the World is in cupboard C, available for selfies. Listen, don't jest, because it might happen. You might be able to get.
I know the BBC are desperate for money, but that is stretching it a little bit. I'm sure. Yeah. Trying to raise funds for the next series. That's what they're trying to do. That's it. Yeah.
Anyway, there you go, everybody. I hope that started your bank holiday weekend or even your weekend with a bit of a laugh. Samia, ka-ching! Let's see how that does for you. Oh, goodness me. I'll tell you something else we've got that's funny. That came up today. And you're going to love this one, everybody, because, yes, it involves this. Have you seen this today from The Guardian? I've taken this one from The Guardian, by the way. It's others reported it, but this one's from The Guardian. I bet they're happy right now, I tell you, in the UK. I bet, ooh. Anyway, a fabulous collision. Doctor Who's Ncuti Gatwa to star in Eurovision 2025. Yes, that's what it says. The actor has the prestigious job of reading the British jury's verdicts on the night after starring in a special Who episode with Ryland and Graham Norton. It's not really a special. Let's face it. It's just another one in the series. It's not a special one at all. But let's look at
what's special about Ryland and Graham Norton. I'm not quite sure. Anyway.
Answers on a postcard too.
Yeah.
you might want a pencil. But yeah, we've got this here. Doctor Who actor Ncuti Gatwa has been confirmed as the UK spokesperson for the Eurovision Song Contest 2025. Gatwa will announce the British jury's points for each participating country's song. Previous spokespeople have included Joanna Lumley, Fern Cotton, Nigella Lawson, and fellow Whoniverse star Catherine Tate. The confirmation cements the Doctor Who and Eurovision fabulous collision this year with a Eurovision-themed episode of the hit sci-fi series airing the same day as the competition, they hope. In the special episode titled Interstellar Song Contest, Gatwa's Doctor and his companion Belinda will visit the 803rd edition of a galaxy-wide singing competition. It will also feature cameos from Eurovision presenters Graham Norton and Ryland Clark. There's no song contest without the great man himself, showrunner RTD previously said in a statement. It was our honour to welcome Graham Norton to our studios in Cardiff. This is the wildest episode of all, and we're lucky to have Graham adding to the mayhem. So again, I thought that was a bit funny today. And then, of course, a lot of fans of this iteration of the show have gone onto social media today, and they're all trying to see whether it's going to be the Doctor giving out the Eurovision results. But considering that, as I've pointed out to many, and they don't like it, most of Europe doesn't know who the Doctor is. It's hardly likely, because they're not going to know Ncuti Gatwa from Toffee, are they, really?
It's not quite the same as Tom Baker presenting Disney Time as the Doctor. That was class, but I can't see this happening, it being very impressive at all,
Yeah, no. So we've got to remember as well that this is actually, assuming the episode will air on the BBC.
Yeah. I mean, he'll still be on it, though, even if it doesn't air. You'd imagine he'll still be doing that as a commitment, won't he? So,
and he gets paid.
We get paid for it. Also, it's really bizarre because he's not done Doctor Who for ages, has he? So he's doing it now as Ncuti Gatwa, not Doctor Who. And even if he was doing his Doctor Who, what would he be wearing? God knows what he's going to be wearing.
I hope it's something just sensible. But then again, it's a Saturday night, it's live. You might be ready to go to the club.
Yeah.
So it might be a leather harness and a whip. You just don't know, do you, with this one? I tell you.
That wouldn't surprise me.
They just do the last 2 votes now, not the whole 12. And Josh H is saying to us, Disney budget must have gone on casting the Samir guy. Domgo is saying, hello, Switzerland, UK calling. You've got the wrong number, mate. Piss off. Legion of James also said to us, it's just getting more ludicrous as it goes along. They are so desperate to sell the homophobes episode, aren't they? I think this will be the tip of the iceberg. Let's see what happens in 2 weeks' time, shall we? Interesting. It's going to be interesting times. Hello, Joe. Joe's with us, everybody. Joe Chapman is in the chat. Nice to see you, lovely. John is saying hello to everybody. And hello, Robert Payne, with your chats there as well. And we've got the Nate channel. Hello, Nate channel. I love Who's Views. It's my birthday on Sunday. Well, happy birthday for Sunday. Yeah. And if you can, remind us on Sunday when we're doing our review of Lucky Day. There you go, because we are here on Sunday, live at 8 on this channel with our review. So, Nate channel, if you can join us, please do. And remind us it's your birthday, and we'll all say happy birthday to you. How's that for you? David Harding is with us. Hello there. Good to see you. And Jess. Hello, Jess. Hi to whoever, wherever you are. And, of course, to JT and Co. In or out, there is never a doubt how appropriate for the current Doctor Who. John Steed is joining us. And so is Smiley People saying, hello, campers. It's great to see headlines again. Ooh, Millie Gibson. I do like her as an actress. She was miles better than Gatwa. She
was indeed. The best thing of season 1, definitely, without a doubt. Yeah.
Legion of James saying to us here, considering Ncuti is not the Doctor, he'll be performing the results like he does everything else as the insufferable Gatwa. I mean, what this means for those of you who haven't seen this because you're out with the UK or out with Europe is that what happens is that he's on screen for what, 60 seconds, a minute, maybe a minute and a bit, and all he does is say, hello, oh, it's lovely to be here, what a great crowd, what a great atmosphere this is, oh, it's amazing, what a great show you've put together, congratulations. The results from the UK audience are, and then he reads the top 2 or 3 numbers, and whoever gets and then he gets off. That's it. It'll be over in a flash. So I don't know why they're all excited.
Well, let's hope it is, to be honest.
It will be, honestly. Just Jordan, it's good to see you. Hope you are well. Thank you very, very much. Actually, you've all just reminded me, by the way, I do have some thank yous as well. So let's get to that now. I'd like to say thank you for everybody that's been getting in touch with us this week. And for all your stories and stuff. And I'd like to say especially to Bill Lowry, to Stephen Evans, to Jane Evans, to Just Jordan, to Rory Strange, to Colin Smith, to Mark Milford, to Josie Smith, to Rodney Strickler, Lawrence Steele, MW56101, The Truth Is Up There, to Terry Stewart, to Mark Poskate, Rocky O, and to Nibbles69. Thank you, but thank you everybody for leaving comments and getting in touch with us. If you want to get in touch with us, then you can. The email address, of course, is whosviews1@gmail.com. whosviews1@gmail.com. Thank you. Isn't that great? Isn't it great?
Lovely.
So that's the first 2 bits we had for you. I hope that started up tonight's edition of Headlines here on Friday, 2nd of May for you with a bit of a laugh, everybody, because I thought...
But that's it. Who doesn't want more of Ncuti Gatwa? Let's be honest.
Again, answers on a postcard too. Whose Views? BBC Wales and Bad Wolf Studios, wherever you want it. Hey, listen, we're going on to the next one now, because do you remember this fella?
Who? Oh, yes, him. Yeah.
This one, everybody.
I like his TARDIS. It's beautiful.
Yeah. You've said that, and a lot of people have said this before, that the set is very reminiscent of the TARDIS, isn't it? Yeah.
It's like the Randy's TARDIS a bit, isn't it, really?
Yeah, and a bit of the Matt Smith one thrown in. I wonder if that was intentional by these designers.
I bet it has to be. Yeah, I bet it does, yeah.
It must be, mustn't it? But this is David Tennant hosting, for want of a better word, a new quiz game, loosely, on the ITV network, which is called Genius. Except it hasn't been really, and it's been a major flop. Now I'm going to read from Hello Magazine. That's fun, isn't it? As Genius game viewers make the same complaint about David Tennant's new show. The 8-part series, 8 parts, sees the country's greatest minds compete in a series of games and puzzles, says Nikki Morris, who's the deputy TV and film editor at Hello. TV's new game show, Genius Game, premiered on Wednesday night. And while many viewers praised the opening episode, others have complained about one aspect of the game. The 8-part reality show, which is based on a South Korean series, is hosted by David Tennant and sees a group of the country's greatest minds compete in games and puzzles based on strategy and social manipulation. Sounds a bit dodgy to me, to be quite honest, Paul.
It does, yeah. It sounds about. Do you remember Jasper Carrott did a game show called Golden Balls? It's not as exciting as it sounds, but it was all about people cheating on each other in terms of the money and giving them, pretending they're going to give them the money, then stealing it and stuff like that. And it was a horrible show, but it was like watching a car crash. You couldn't look away. Honestly, it was just awful. But this sounds very similar. It sounds like a mixture of a game show and the Traitors type thing. You know what I mean? Kind of a mixture of the two. You know.
Well, I've never seen either. I do remember a show called Golden Balls with Jasper Carrott, but I never watched it.
Right.
I think there was something on after it that I would watch because I remember the end and him saying goodbye. Well, this one, it says here, the synopsis reads, Genius Game is a brand new reality game show. Ugh, I'm off it already. That will see strategically minded players chosen not just for their high intellectual prowess, but also their social IQ to face the ultimate battle of survival. And they asked David Tennant to host this. There's great hypocrisy there. To win, it says, contestants will participate in a host of never-before-seen games, all designed to not only test their intellectual acumen, but encourage them to carefully and creatively use the art of manipulation to outfox their opponents and win a cash prize. Apparently, while many viewers loved, it says, the first episode, others were left baffled by the rules of the game. Taking to social media, one person wrote, I can't be a genius because I haven't a clue what's bloody going on. Completely baffled, and I thought I was clever because I can get the 1% question right sometimes. While another asked, Genius Game, is anyone else confused or is it just me? Another one said, I'm there for the reality television evolving and all that, but not at the expense of compromising entertainment value for overly complicated rules. This feels like hard work. And another one said, is anybody else really confused with this game? There were a few people, of course, saying it was so good, but the majority of it was people were saying, Paul, it was terrible. And thanks to Bedweer, this came in.
I was going to ask that, yes.
From broadcastnow.co.uk, Genius Game, 9 p.m. till 10 p.m, 1.2 million overnight with the 10.2%. Remarkable Entertainment's adaptation of the Korean strategy reality format made a quiet start as it struggled to match BBC One's flagship entertainment offering Race Across the World, whatever that is. Genius Game debuted to nearly half the 2.2 million slot average and fell short of the channel's previous primetime competition format, which was called The Fortune Hotel, which opened with 1.5 at 9 p.m. on a Monday back in May 2024. Opposite the second episode of BBC One's Race Across the World, sprinted past its rivals, and the channel's 2.9 slot average entertaining 3.1 million, broadly in line with the 3.2 that tuned in for last week's premiere. Okay, so 1.2 million overnight for Genius Game at 9 p.m. on ITV1. These people, Paul, are not providing television that people want to see.
Only good thing about it for David is it's doing better than the current version of Doctor Who, though, isn't it? Let's be honest.
But, my lord, I now say once again that this shows that David Tennant is no longer the draw or as popular with the British public as the industry seems to think he is. He has turned off so many people over the last couple of years with his nonsense, hasn't he?
As we said before as well, it tends to be the last gasp of someone's career when they've started doing a game show, isn't it, to be fair?
Well, traditionally it was, wasn't it?
Yeah, so maybe, hopefully that's the same, because he has upset a lot of people, hasn't he? Let's be honest.
He has, yeah. And if it's going, I just think 9 p.m, everybody who views 9 p.m, you know, and what a flop. So what? I don't think the broadcasters, including the BBC, obviously, who must be really, really annoyed now because everything's going the other way in our country to what they want it to be. So let's just hope they don't go down the triple down route and force people into lots of stupid nonsense. So I can see it happening. But also ITV and your Channel 4, who are all very much on the same page. People must be going to the streamers.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or going out and maybe having a life at this time. I don't know. What do you think, Paul?
Well, I think, the reality TV, for a start, certainly for me personally, is a real turn off. I don't know what the rest of the UK feels about that, but I hate all that kind of stuff. So who watches it? You know what I mean? So it's been done to death as well. That's part of the problem. It's on every other channel. I won't bore you to death how I feel about Big Brother, but that's been going forever. It's a horrendous program, So, or I'm a celebrity, get out of here, all that kind of stuff, bloody awful thing. So it's not for me. But it's like, I just can't think of something original and new. You know what I mean?
No, obviously not. They obviously can't. They can't. But the thing is, Paul, and as who the viewers will know, the whole thing with reality television, and I am against reality television, really, it's cheap.
Yeah, I'm going to say that. Yeah, it's cheap.
Cheap and nasty. Look at that Big Brother nonsense. It's cheap. Yeah. It really is. Mark Greaves, thank you for your super chat again. I bet he cries giving 12 points. So that'd be shooty then. I know. Oh, gosh. David Harding wants to know, has Whose Views ever reviewed UFO or Space 1999? We haven't yet.
Well, Dr. Ian's a big fan of UFO, isn't he? So maybe you never know. But
he is. There's a lot.
Gigi's not keen there, I can tell.
No, I'm not committing to anything because we've got a lot we want to do and a lot of plans, and there's a lot we want to review, and there's a lot that we've already got this year planned. Yeah. So stay with us because it's just a question of time, really, as well, and getting it all done. But there's a lot we want to do as we expand and move into stuff. So make sure you're subscribed. And listen, if you're already subscribed, make sure that you're still subscribed because I'm still getting emails. So thank you for telling me you've been unsubscribed. It's nothing to do with us, I can promise you. David Shaw, is the Doctor in Lucky Day or is it Ruby Sunday episode only? Stay with us, David. We're going to be looking more at Lucky Day in this particular show, because we're going to be doing our usual Friday roundup of what's coming up over the weekend in Doctor Who. Hello to Ezra Goldstein as well, who's joined us. Nice to see you. What are you all making about this? Paul Thomas Ashworth, PTA. I wonder how much Ncuti will be paid for his Eurovision gig. 50p for the electric meter, everybody? Showing your age there. Do you know, I made that joke, PTA, just the other day, and this young person I work with went, "What do you mean?" And I felt really old. That's
I've done that as well. I remember saying to some young people that I talk about Morecambe Wise, and said, "Who's Morecambe Wise?" Like Anton Deck, only funny. And then said, "Who's Anton Deck?" They said,
only funny.
Yes,
and then he said that as well.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Julianne is saying about Tennant's thing, because problem being is saying, just in case you weren't already totally sick of the sight of Tennant. Yeah, exactly. I'm never going to support anything he does ever again. Like,
yeah.
Oh dear, it's a flop. How sad, to Julianne. Oh, she's scathing, isn't she? Scathing. And Duncan's saying to us, that looks a better TARDIS interior than the actual one at the moment. At least it's more compact.
Yeah.
I don't know this one, said Pete. Bring back Ultra Quiz. Don't know what that is.
I was going to say it's a bit like the Krypton Factor. This show, but that's another reference for the oldies in the audience.
Yeah, Sheila B's making a good point here. Tennant only appeared via a TV screen. Yeah, he wasn't even in the studio with them. He was doing stuff beamed in as it was.
Yeah.
And Shelley Ingalls saying, "Who cares about David Tennant?" Well, not us really, but I thought it was a laugh because they put so much into this show. And they started publicising it when? At the beginning of the year, Paul, when they started recording?
I think so, yeah. They're really trying to push it. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, they were really trying to push it. And then they went muted between their plans, I reckon, just before Christmas or whenever we first mentioned this.
Yeah.
Shelley. And then it went muted. And even in the TV guides last week, it wasn't that big. And I think it's because of the old gob.
I think you're right. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Do we have to? It's bad. We're going to have to do a ratings analysis of 8 episodes of this game show as well.
No, we're not going to look at that. No.
Oh, thank God for that. Thank God for that. But just for my viewer sanity more than anything else, you know.
Yeah, we're not going to publicise anything that he's doing really, but
unless it gets under 1 million, of course.
I think Doctor Who's going to get there first.
Possibly, yeah.
To be honest, you know. Rob is saying to us, David Tennant still making Doctor Who look good. John Steed is saying viewing figures on par with Doctor Who. Then yes, but isn't it interesting how this one's at 9 p.m. at night? And I do believe it's because people are fed up with the programming that they're being provided with, and they're looking for alternatives. And I think they're also fed up with the likes of Tennant. Honestly,
yeah.
You know. It's a race between Genius Game and Doctor Who to fall below 1 million viewers, says Domgo. And Terrified Monk is saying, but is it on the iPlayer? Daryl's also saying to us, he's out. I'm out, he says. And what's this from Legion of James? Outside his echo chamber, Tennant's overall popularity and appeal has plummeted. He said too much on behalf of the TQ cult, and his return to Doctor Who was a disaster. Yeah. And look at today. We are broadcasting to you live here in the UK, Friday, the 2nd of May, 2025. An incredibly huge day politically in England, because the entire political platforming of America and of the United Kingdom and structuring in England has shifted dramatically today, and that's going to have. We haven't even got to Scotland, Northern Ireland, or Wales yet.
No,
this is a really, and you can just tell that these people in the industry, in the show business industry, and in the BBC, they will be, an ITV, everyone, they'll all be like tonight. They will not be happy, because it's going against. Can you imagine RTD?
Well, I think it's interesting that the UK population, they got really sick of all the other parties, and they voted the way they voted for Farage, etc. You know, so it's kind of we're fed up with it. That's the thing, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Lots of you in the chat here today, but big times, changing times here in the UK. Oh, Josh H, what are you saying to me? Tennant seems to have become a public personality. Not so long ago, you wouldn't have seen or heard from him outside of acting.
Yeah.
Yes, and part of me thinks it's because of people around him, and the other part of me thinks because he's not cocky, because he's suddenly a multi-millionaire.
Yeah, I wonder if he'd ever consider entering politics. That'd be interesting.
He wouldn't get 5 minutes.
But if it's good enough for Ronald Reagan, let's be honest.
But even Reagan, with the whole Reaganomic thing and stuff like this, he was still a force, if you know what I mean. It was a force of nature, wasn't he? He was still depending what it doesn't really matter, but you have to look at those people from back. You don't get them anymore.
No,
look at ours now. I mean, the legacy of Thatcher is going to hurt lots of us forever.
Oh yeah, definitely, yeah. But
you have to admit, she wouldn't have stood for any of the nonsense going today.
Oh no, she'd have actually be quite sensible in comparison to what we've got now. Yeah.
You look back with hindsight and you just think, God, we didn't know when we had it so good, really. Even though a lot of the politics aside, the actual politicians we had, that's what I'm talking about now, they were politicians, they cared.
And they didn't need a reality check, really, based on what we have now, to be fair. Yeah.
You never had to tell even the past what a woman was, did you?
Exactly, yeah.
They all knew. Call us old-fashioned.
Talking old-fashioned, I love Bob's Old House and Celebrity Squares, I have to say, yeah.
All available on the Tube of Who.
Yeah. These YouTube channels are like Celebrity Squares, aren't they? When you got 6 panelists on.
More. Yeah. Oh yeah, it's great to see you all. Thank you for all joining us. It's great and you're all having a little walk down memory lane now as well, so that's great. Yes, Dread Newt, what you're saying to us, nice to see you. Won't ever watch Tennant, especially when he runs his mouth about the fans when we were the ones who supported Doctor Who. That's the problem, isn't it? That is the problem. And Domgo is saying to us, I'm surprised Tennant isn't hosting RTD's new game show, Mr. and Mr. Hey, no, listen. I'm going to just go off track for a minute, everybody. Because that's too near the knuckle. BBC Three have done this thing with Danny Minogue, of all people. Danny. Now, I met her years ago. She won't remember me. Danny, you should know better, love. Please. You should know better. She's the host of a BBC Three, obviously, reality quiz show, game show, whatever you want to call it, called I Kissed a Boy. Now, in the previous series, this has been about girls trying to find a boyfriend. So one fella and all these girls and whatever happens. I don't really know because it's not my thing. However, the new series of I Kissed a Boy stars gay men, hosted by Danny Minogue. And it's the same sort of thing. There's these gay men lining up, right? And they have to go on these dates with other gay men. Except, of course, this is the BBC. And one of them is a trans man. Therefore, is a woman. So therefore, they're pushing heterosexuality on these gay men. It's the trans man in question is called Lars, Lars. It's a woman. And I'm just saying to the BBC Three and BBC iPlayer who've started pushing this today, you make me sick, you homophobic runts. It's a woman. I don't know why. If I'd been there, I would have kicked off. They would have got a show, I tell you, out of me on BBC Three. Huge ratings as I was effing and blinding. You know what I mean?
They can't really call it. They can't really call it Mr. Can they really? If they were to, because that is again, you'd have to get in contact with trading standards on that one, surely. You know.
Yeah. But it's pushing homophobia on BBC Three. So I will certainly be. Robert Payne saying, I think the gay men will notice. You would think so after a little while, but they're so. I don't know. They're so idiotic today. They might not say anything so that they're not branded.
The only good thing about that is they're going to keep their clothes on. If you've seen Naked Attraction, good God.
I'm so glad that's been axed. Terrible show.
Yeah.
Absolutely disgraceful. And not a British thing at all. Absolutely disgraceful. The BBC stuff is generally offensive and disgusting, said Josh H. Yeah. And problem being saying, sick of the BBC, defund the BBC. And that sounds sick, says Graham. It is. And they think it's funny and progressive and saying, oh, look, a trans man can be a gay man. Wrong. Absolutely wrong. Cody is saying to us, you can't parody now because we're living in one. Great. Yeah. Absolutely. And what we got from Daleks Are Forever. On a bigger note, they're pushing homosexuality on heterosexuals via trans women. Yes.
If it's not complicated enough, you know.
Honestly, Paul, these people are insane.
Yeah,
they're
crazy.
Absolutely insane. Well, the show is called I Kissed a Boy. It's the 3rd season, apparently. And the trans man's name is Lars. They've put him in there. And if you want to complain, as you can, its BBC complaints number is 0370 010 0222. That is not a joke. That's the complaints number. about this new series of I Kissed a Boy and its homophobia. 0370 010 0222.
And I'll tell you something on the lines of, this is farmed out to an independent TV company. It's got nothing to do with us.
Yeah. Well, it wouldn't surprise me. But, you know, there we go.
I wonder if this show was commissioned prior to the court decision early in the year, you know?
No.
Probably.
Well, from what I can see, Paul, lots of stuff this week, sadly, show business is refusing to accept the Supreme Court's logical and common sense ruling that a woman is a woman and a man is a man, and a trans woman is not a woman and a trans man is not a man.
So they're just commissioning any show they can based on that, really. That's what they're doing. Yeah.
Well, anyway. Oh, well. Anyway, that's something else for you. Sorry, we're off on a tangent there, but you know me on this show, everybody, that's what I do. But it's good to see you all. Let's get into this now, because you remember, Paul and Who viewers, a couple of weeks ago, we reported on Tom Percival, a Doctor Who fan who works for the Metro.
Yes.
Do you remember? And Tom had put this really honest article out into the Metro, which is, which I'm sure some of his particular colleagues wouldn't have been happy about, where he's basically saying the show's ending. This is it. This is terrible. The ratings are terrible. They can't get out of this. Do you remember him?
Yes, I do remember.
Here he is again. Yeah, and he's back again now, everybody. And I thought this was interesting now as well. So good evening to Tom. This is his latest piece from the Metro. Doctor Who is fixing its biggest mistake, but it might be too late. Let's get into this, everyone, and see what you have to say. Doctor Who is in a tricky spot right now, and waving his sonic screwdriver around won't save him this time. You see, the Doctor's facing a far deadlier enemy than a devious Dalek or a soulless Cyberman. He's got to battle declining viewership. Yes, sadly, while the reviews for the latest season have been more glowing than a regenerating Time Lord, the show isn't pulling in the viewers like it once did. Last week, only 1.58 million people tuned in overnight to watch Lux. And while things were better this week with The Well, 1.9 million watched the most recent episode overnight, it's still below the show's average overnight viewership of around 2 million. I can't believe that we're actually saying that now. You know, the average to watch Doctor Who is 2 million overnight. I mean, come on. Anyway, let's carry on. Even accounting for consolidated viewing figures, which includes the streaming, good point there, Tom Percival, well done. The show's only getting around 3.5 million viewers, a far cry from a few years ago when it would regularly bring in 4 to 6 million. So what's gone wrong? Well, as I've previously written, there are two main issues. The first is one of perception. People just don't think the new series is very good. And while there are a few reasons for that, cough, Space Babies cough, I think it's fair to say it's a bit unfair. I know Ncuti's had some clunkers, The Devil's Board, Empire of Death, and Space Babies, of course, immediately spring to mind. Still, every Doctor has a stinky story or two, and for the most part, Ncuti's run has been solid. Were this the only problem, then I think Doctor Who might be able to regenerate from all the bad press. But the second problem is a little more existential. Honestly, the biggest problem is that people just don't watch TV like they used to. And in a world full of AAA TV shows, it's hard for Doctor Who to cut through. There's just so much content to watch and catch up on that if you don't make a splash, you're effectively dead in the water. Thankfully, the BBC seems to have finally realised there's a problem and is addressing the issue. It's been reported, although the BBC didn't confirm when I emailed them, that the season 15 finale isn't going to be unceremoniously dumped on iPlayer at 8 a.m. like other episodes. Instead, you're going to have to plonk your bum in front of the Idiot's Lantern, sorry, couldn't resist, at 7 p.m. and watch it like we did in the good old days. To make things even more exciting, the BBC has announced that the episode will be shown in UK cinemas. Now, you might not think that's thrilling, but as a fully paid-up TV nerd, it's music to my ears. Doctor Who, after all, should be one of the crown jewels in the BBC Saturday night schedule, along with Strictly. It's appointment viewing, not disposable streaming fodder. And I know that makes me sound pretentious, but you don't see HBO dropping The Last of Us early, do you? No. They make people wait because they know the value of their shows and that audiences will wait for them. By reducing Doctor Who to something to be streamed at your convenience, the BBC has unintentionally diminished the show's importance and prestige. It's the same thing that happened to Marvel movies and other Disney projects during the pandemic. They started releasing stuff on Premier Access and diluted their brand's power as people started to see these shows and movies as just another thing on streaming. After all, which of us hasn't seen something exclusive to streaming and thought, ooh, I must watch that, and then never got round to it because it's on streaming? It can wait. I'm glad then to see Doctor Who restored to its pride of place on a Saturday night, and I just hope it's not too little, too late. Unfortunately, I think this may be a difficult genie to put back in the bottle, or to use a Doctor Who metaphor, tougher than getting a Dalek mutant back in its Mark III travel machine. The reason I'm so cynical is that audiences are quick learners, and if they've learned that to think of Doctor Who as a streaming show, then it's going to be difficult, even for a Time Lord, to wind back the clock. He makes some good points.
He's such a nerd, such a fan, isn't he? Obviously, clearly.
Yeah.
But no, he does make a lot of great points. I think it has not helped the series at all by dropping it prior to broadcast time, and that is crazy. And I agree with that as well, that it's no longer event TV, and that's the way it should be. But again, it is too late. I think it's too late because Space Babies really did it for most people, I think, didn't it? And then it followed by The Devil's Cod. There's even a drop in ratings between the two episodes, if you remember. So it's like, it's too late, isn't it? Far too late.
Yeah. I think he's got a point. Lots of you in the chat. Keep it coming. Let us know. I'll try and keep up with you. Let us know what you think about the article. I think he's right in that it's not event viewing anymore, Doctor Who. Yeah. And I think that's because they've read this report. Whatever. I think it was just a lot. I've said it before. I think it was a load of people just telling them, "Oh, we can't watch this anymore," and it's got to speed it up and listening to them rather than a big paid-for report.
Yeah.
But I think they've taken that specialness out of it because they were so desperate to follow the trend.
Yeah.
And make it into this. Plus the BBC's actual desire to register and have people think of the iPlayer as a streaming service, which it isn't. It's a catch-up service.
It must have had something to do with a Disney deal, because if Disney do that with all the shows, and they do it all the time, they have like a premiere of the first two episodes on a Wednesday or something like that, and it's dropped for that, and then it's the same time every week or whatever it's dropped. So I think it's probably a lot to do with that, because Disney wanted to have some kind of control over that, so they could have the same idea on their streaming system when they drop their episodes of Doctor Who. So I think that's why they did it. But it is why they have to do it in the UK. I don't understand. Disney's got control all around the world apart from the UK. So why couldn't the BBC do it at their own time? I
think that's something to do with the fact that they will imagine, think of all the spoilers that go on the internet as the fans talk. But that's where you've got to actually say to people, if you don't want to know, don't look at the internet for a day. But then we're dealing, as somebody said to me recently, we're dealing with a couple of generations, and all they know is using their phone for the internet. I mean, we have to, you see them all now all the time. They can't live without it. Even at dinner, they could be in a restaurant. I see people, young couples together, having a meal, and they're on the phones. How bloody rude is that? Why aren't they interacting with each other? You're supposed to be dating or married, for crying out loud, whatever it's going to be. And they're on the phones. I don't get it. So I understand that aspect to it, but I think it would have been fantastic for certain Doctor Who fans to actually learn personal restraint. And have it still back. Not that it matters with this reiteration of the show, because it just wasn't going to work, quite frankly.
But I think it's done a lot of damage. I agree with the article. It's not helped it in any way, shape, or form. And needs all the help it can get. And doing that is a big mistake, I think.
Yeah, but I think it is too late, personally, right now.
Oh, yeah.
We've got Legion James saying this article is just cope, slightly polished cope, but amounts to the same. From the offset, the writer shows his colours by referring to the Doctor as them. It works for the Metro, James. Of course, I always change that now because I won't tolerate that absolute nonsense about all this language. The Doctor should be, as you all know, in my opinion, he's a male of his species, and he's a Time Lord from Gallifrey, Paul.
Yeah, can I check? Just in the article, they're talking about the broadcast of the finale in the cinema. So if I've understood it right, so they're going to be showing Doctor Who, the last episode, at a broadcast at 7 p.m, but not dropped on the iPlayer during the day. So it'll be on after it's broadcast.
It comes onto the iPlayer at the same time as shown on the telly.
All right, okay. So it's not being dropped at 8 o'clock. That's
as far as I'm aware. Yeah. As far as I'm aware.
Yeah.
But again, it's too late. It's the last two episodes.
Yeah.
Or the last episode, rather. Rocky O is saying that's well written. And hello to Rory and Cheryl and friends too. Scrap reality, pour money into proper drama like we used to, like House of Elliot, Run Paul of the Bailey, Jewel and the Crown, proper content people would watch. Yeah, I think that's what's missing from British television today. And actually, in a sense, the reboot of Doctor Who fell into that context because it was full-body drama at some point in its incarnation. And people were coming to it. The Notwees were coming to it. Amazing figures. Domgo is saying it's not event viewing because it's shit. And Legion James again. Yes, previous Doctors, not Jodie because she's not the Doctor, had bad episodes, but there was a significant difference. Even in the worst of previous, who featured the Doctor, who carried the bad episode. Yeah,
exactly.
Totally.
Yeah,
exactly. Josh, the iPlayer will only be seen as a proper streaming service when people have to pay specifically for that, and not whilst it's funded out of the license fee part. That's my point as well, mate. But unfortunately, the BBC do seem intent on calling it a streaming service, which is actually a lie, and it's propaganda to say that they're up there with Disney and Paramount, and you're not. It's a catch-up service, and as we've been saying on this show, BBC Studios, BBC iPlayer, if you want to be a streaming service, scrap the license fee and ask people to start subscribing to your iPlayer. That will show the real reality of things, won't it?
And they've got such an archive of fantastic shows. I know there's a lot of missing things, but certainly they've got a huge history of great TV. They could turn their whole archive into a streaming service, and they make a lot of money from it.
Well, what they could also do, Paul, is if they scrap the iPlayer, if they scrap the license fee, and people subscribe to the iPlayer, you have the iPlayer service on the BBC.
Yeah.
And that's where it can be worked out to look quite glossy and what have you. So the BBC One would show things via the iPlayer.
Yeah.
This is what happens here. This would all have to be worked out. But it would mean that people are paying for the BBC through a subscription and it's shown on the channels. Yes, I know it's disrupting and I know it would change the look of television, but who cares? Who cares? Because we're all forced to pay for the BBC. And then we're sort of punished if we don't, because they say, well, you can't watch that side and you can't watch that side. You don't get any money anyway.
Yeah.
But anyway, there we go. George is saying if it was actually good, people would watch it. And Paul Schlechter is saying, I don't really think it's going earlier on iPlayer is the problem. The problem is the writing, the constant messaging, and that the brand has been really damaged by Chibnall and RTD.
No, I agree with that, but I don't think the dropping of iPlayers really helped them either. I think I agree with all that completely, but that's another hindrance to the series, if you know what I mean. Yeah.
It is. And that's what this article is about, isn't it? It's by saying that they've shot themselves in the foot by dropping it at midnight last year.
Yeah.
And then at 8 o'clock this time round. And now they're saying that they're not going to do it for the last one or two.
It's got a lot of things that are hindering. I mean, they've not got a decent lead man. They're not writing the Doctor. The scripts are bad, So, and then they're putting on at different times. They're moving it about a lot. They're dropping it on the iPlayer. There's so many things that are against it. And don't get me started about the Doctor not wearing a significant costume all the time. Anyway.
Well, yeah. We know I agree with you on that one. But it's like Paul Schlechter is saying to us there. All those reasons are correct. That's everything there has alienated the Doctor. Since when did Jodie Whittaker become the Doctor? 2018?
2017, 18, yeah.
Yeah. So since then, everything's alienated the public.
Yeah.
Because the viewing figures have gone down. The fans have gone, as we all know. The fans have gone. So you're right, Paul Schlechter. All that's contributed. But they didn't. The articles about the iPlayer hasn't helped at all either. Woodhouse 122, the finale is going to flop in the ratings. The pre-broadcast iPlayer figures have been pretty poor for the 3 episodes shown. And we've got another one tomorrow. Graham's saying to us, I think everyone knows now that the show is a parody of what it used to be, and there are less and less supporters of this current embarrassing rubbish. Fundamentally, the ratings don't lie. Well, no, of course they don't.
No,
as Bed Weir says, they can't, can they?
They can't lie, but regardless of how you sell it, how you try to spin it, people aren't watching it. That's why the figures are so low. Whether they watch TV on the devices or wherever they watch them, there are not enough people watching it to get an audience. So they're not enjoying it. They're not engaging. They're not connecting with the general public. And that's who you want to have as your audience, surely.
And for those of you outside the UK as well, just to let you know, the BBC doesn't seem to be connecting. And ITV, its main commercial rival, and also Channel 4, the other one, they're not connecting, in my opinion, with the British audience at all because their figures are down. So when people are arguing, especially certain Doctor Who fans argue, but the figures are down in general everywhere. Why? Why? Go and look at the TV listings magazine, and I can show you why. Because there's a load of old poo on all 4 channels. Even only Channel 5 seems to be up in the game with some decent quality stuff, and originality and good old-fashioned British, non-judgmental, non-lecturing dramas. I also believe that apparently there's a comedy on its way. So let's see what that's about.
Oh God.
Well, hopefully it'll be a comedy because they don't seem to care about all this PC nonsense.
Well, I've caught. Unfortunately, flicking the channels. Unfortunately, I caught a glimpse of. Is it Smoggy Queens, the trans?
No.
The drag queen one. That is bloody awful. And Mark Benton's in it, who played Clive, and Rose. He's in it as well, playing a drag character.
I was very surprised by that, but yeah, do you know what, everybody? This made me laugh. Yeah. That show that Paul's looking at there, because it's on BBC Three. And it gets less than 1 million viewers. And it was commissioned for a second series.
Yeah.
And we all know why.
Yeah. Yeah.
Tick box. That's why. It doesn't matter it's getting less than 700,000 viewers or whatever. It doesn't matter. There's the minority. It was shocking. Absolutely shocking. It's been commissioned for another series. It could be that it had a 2-series deal, Paul. I don't know. But they could still say it didn't hit in the ratings axis.
Yeah. Yeah.
Other things have been axed really for getting, for other reasons, getting more views. But that was shocking.
Everything apart from Mrs. Brown Boys. That's the only thing that seemed to be
but that was
missing forever. Yeah,
that was
I think that has been curtailed. I think it's coming to an end. Yes. So,
well, it must be that because Piers Wenger left the BBC a while ago, didn't he? But he had said he was going to run for such and such because he signed the deal allegedly.
Yeah.
Jess is saying there's nothing wrong with decent quality streaming, but some mess even that about. Is this 8 a.m. ban the UK or international? Is this 8 a.m. ban? It's not a ban. It's not a ban. What they've been doing here on the iPlayer is dropping Doctor Who at 8 o'clock on a Saturday morning for those people desperate enough to want to tune in at 8 o'clock with their Weetabix and watch it. And there are a few, as we know, and good for them. And then they'll go about through the day watching it over and over and over. And then they'll come to the screening at 7 o'clock or whatever it's going to be, 6:40, whatever, and watch it again. But it hasn't working for them. The viewing figures are still awful with that element. So what they're saying now is that it's not going to be at the end of the series on the iPlayer in the morning. It'll be on at the same time as it's broadcast on the BBC.
Yeah.
Too late.
That'll make all the difference.
It's too late, isn't it?
Yeah.
Doug D. Nice to see you, Doug D. Hey guys, here's one for you. Rotten Tomatoes over here in the States just gave Doctor Who 98%. Go figure. Ooh.
Is that 90% bad or 90% good? I'm not quite sure.
I thought he meant 98% good. Well, it's Rotten Tomatoes. Surely it can't be.
Yeah,
is that right?
Yeah. So is it the other way around? So it means that's really bad by their terms or not? Either way, if it's good, then obviously they're being paid to say that. So there we are, allegedly.
Yeah, let us know there. Doug, which one it is. Is it 98% rotten? John Steed is saying Doctor Who used to be the jewel in the crown. Now it's just a kick in the jewels.
That'll bring a tear to the Doctor's eyes again. Yeah.
This time. What else we got here? There's so many in the chat. Great to see you. Great to see you. Did you see, said Judge, Gatwa is doing something for the Eurovision Song Contest? Yeah, we talked about it about 10 minutes ago, mate. At the top of the show. You'll have to go back after this show and have a look at it.
Some more Gatwa goodness for you, George. There you are.
What we got here? Push left the says it won't make any difference to the ratings. It's not being on iPlayer. It's all too little too late. Yeah, they should have thought about it properly and stopped trying to keep up with Disney. And digital pollution. I checked in the cinema near me. If anybody had bought advance tickets for Doctor Who, not one had been sold. Well, obviously not enough loons in your area, digital pollution. David B, the Doctor and the Master are male, Romana and the Rani are female. Quote Jeremy Clarkson, how hard can it be? Well, ask these idiots that have been running the show for the last few years. And Shelley Ingalls saying, according to the latest rumours, I've heard that they have to wait until June to get it renewed or not. If it won't get renewed, it will be on hiatus for 3 years. I've been saying for a little while, Shelley, that 3 years would probably be enough to reboot it with a good production team, but it has to be a good production team. I'm also hearing at the moment now, everybody, and this is just hearsay, so don't quote me on this, that the Sea Devil thing is coming sooner than we think. So it could be on after Doctor Who. I reckon they might wait till that's done before they make any announcements. So maybe that's why it's coming soon. But stay with us, because as soon as the BBC and Bad Wolf announce when this thing is coming, of course, we'll all come back on Headlines and we'll have a chat about it and possibly a laugh.
I've just thought of something, and I just hope it doesn't come true. They decide to show the Sea Devils the week after the last episode of season 2. Oh no!
I think it's a continuation. However,
they would have to watch another 5 weeks of crappy Doctor Who.
Well, you might not do, because the other thing is, of course, they might just drop it all on iPlayer as one.
That's true. Yeah.
And then if I heard the original plan was to do it Monday to Friday over 1 week.
Yeah.
It would help us here if it was weekly, because we can fit it into the schedule a bit better.
Yeah. Yes.
Otherwise, we're going to have to change the format of the show for us. I'm not paying again to go to the cinema. I'm comfy at home. There's no kids and scarves and ice cream. I'm sorted. Yeah, quite right, Pete Harrington. And David B saying it's not the iPlayer, it's the DEI player. Good one. Like that. And Rocky O, unlike when we were young, no one is around at the same time anymore. Again, we've proved in our shows, Rocky O, with Bedouin, when we're doing the ratings, that they will be, if it's good enough and they want to, they will sit down when it's broadcast to watch it. And there are plenty of shows around the UK that do that. People will make appointment viewing for it.
And they did that with, sorry, they did that with when New Who was the reboot was brought back in 2005. It had people watching as families.
Yeah,
they've just lost what they're trying to. They've just lost Doctor Who and the appeal of Doctor Who. That's the thing,
Yeah. I still think I have faith in Doctor Who personally. I think if it's done properly, I still think it can be huge, and I still think people will say, "Oh, Doctor Who's going to be on at such and such a time on that particular night. We'll watch it because it was good last week."
Yeah,
and I think they will come to it. And I don't think society has changed that much to say they're not going to sit down together. I think they want to. I just don't think the providers, i.e. the BBC, ITV, Channel 4, Sky, in some cases, are doing that.
They need to respect the material, the source material as well, because they're not doing that at all.
Yeah. They don't even. The problem with these people is they don't even. I mean, we know, don't we? They look down on the British public, even more so after today. But they're going to be livid, these people in the industry. They're going to be livid. Firstly, we're telling them a trans man isn't a man and a trans woman isn't a woman. And now we're telling them, we don't like what you're all saying, you lot over there on the extreme left, your dictates and everything. They're going to be livid, these people. They're the dangerous ones, by the way, everybody.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Who fans have been paying the BBC more than the license fee for decades. We should all be exempt by now, says Duncan Evans. I totally agree with that.
So do I.
How much money have we all given BBC Enterprises, stroke Worldwide, stroke Studios?
Just for Spearhead from Space and Shada alone.
Exactly. Exactly. The too much. Shada as well always makes me laugh. The most completed Doctor Who story in Doctor Who history.
Exactly, yeah. 4 times over. Yeah.
I wonder what the next one will be like. but yeah, how many times? And then they go around and tell us to touch grass and it's not for you anymore after taking our money over 40 years. Please go away. Bugger off. Well, so we got Carwin. What are you saying to me? I've noticed is when people would talk about one of the other doctors, they would generally refer to them as the 90th, 10th, or so on. But today they refer to him as Ncuti Gatwa. There's a disconnect there. You see, I'm older than you, I think, Carwin, because I just know the doctor as the doctor. I never use the numbering.
Oh, you would say Baker or Pertwee or Hartnell and do their surnames, wouldn't you? Really, rather than first.
If you were in conversation, but you wouldn't say 3 or you wouldn't say 4.
Yeah,
you wouldn't do that. You would just say the doctor. And as fans, we always knew which one we were talking about anyway, in context of the story.
Yeah. And if you're a fan, you'd know exactly because you were a fan.
I think it's because there's so bloody many of them now, Paul.
Yeah. But it's quite sad because I think I pointed out to you when I met Paul McGann. I mentioned I met Paul McGann, didn't I? And he signed at 8, and I like the Davison, he'd signed at 5 as well. Yeah, and I noticed Tom does it. Tom's done 4 and things. It's like, you don't need to do that. You don't need to do that at all. It's just
the doctor. It's your doctor.
Yeah.
I totally agree. Yeah, that's all come in over recent years. I think it all started for me personally when they were calling the Whittaker Doctor the 13th as an insistence. This is the Doctor, and this is number 13, whether you like it or not.
Yeah, unlucky for some. Yeah.
It was, wasn't it?
It was. Yeah.
Yeah. David Shaw's with us again saying, is Ncuti leaving Doctor Who at the end of the series finale? And is there a new Doctor? Is that what RTD is doing? Well, David, we don't know. We really, really don't know. It's all going to be announced at some point in the future. You have to stay with us. Currently, right now, as I think I said to you, the Doctor Who is out of production. Ncuti Gatwa is out of contract. RTD has nothing to produce. He's now gone on to this other thing he's going to be producing for Channel 4 next year. So he's gone to do that. Other people involved with the production, hopefully they've all got work. I don't know.
Ncuti got 6 months, didn't he? I mean, doing theatre, nothing else.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
it's possible at this stage, but stay with us because when we get more about it, we'll let you know. So there we go. What we've got here from Craig Dunlop. I got an email from the BBC Tonight for real asking me to participate in their online assessment of how well they're doing. First, though, I was supposed to register and sign in with them, so flux that. Yes, I'll tell you who else got that email, and this will make you all laugh. Guess who else got asked, Paul, to participate in this BBC survey?
Yours truly.
No.
Oh, no.
The one and only Mr. Gareth Roberts.
Oh, hope he told them how they were doing.
I think he did. He put it on his X.
Fantastic.
I think he had a lovely time. I really do think he had a lovely time filling that in, honestly. Hello, Stikes Boy 73 or Sticks Boy 73. It's good to see you. And what we got here from Josh H. Josh H is saying to us, British TV is in deep trouble. ITV and Channel 4, the ratings are down. Sky are constantly having to make cuts too. Shows are being cancelled. Others can't afford to be made. It's true.
Yeah.
Isn't it, Paul? The industry's a mess.
It is a mess, yeah.
It's sad, really, because our industry, although small, it was fantastic.
There's a huge amount of talent, yeah.
And now because they've tick boxed so many things, they've got no audience. And when you look at some of the stuff Magic Stew and everybody else that's going on with the theatres,
yeah,
they're asking £75 upwards for a ticket. And they're really gone with the ideology. And you've got all these bloody actors now coming out, as I said on Sunday at Live on 6, you've got all these actors coming out now, haven't you, going, we're not going to recognise the Supreme Court's ruling.
Yeah.
Well, you should be in a padded cell then, shouldn't you? Rather get up off your knees, virtue signal. Stop virtue signaling. It just annoys me. Hello, Magic Stew. Good evening, chaps. Hope you're all doing well. I have run out of energy of things to say. Just wake me up when something decent happens. Well, we'll see in about 3 years then. I'll tell you what, Magic Stew, stay with us because we've got some cracking decent things coming up for you on this channel once we get this out the way. Stay with us. PTA, thank you for your super chat. Sutek script writing sat on top of RTD's house. I reckon that's probably where he got the idea from. I mean, what a stupid storyline that was.
Well, he claimed he had it as a story as a kid. Paul. When he watched Doctor Who, he said that was a story he had in his head and he really wanted to write it when they had the budget.
Yeah, but sometimes when you're a kid, your ideas as a kid should stay with your kid self.
Exactly. You know
what I mean? Ugh. And Duncan the Funky Heaven saying, coming soon, Sharda, the AI version. Oh.
Don't give them ideas. Yeah.
They will. I can see it because they've got some of those lovely stills and rehearsal shots left.
Yeah.
They might just do it, Duncan.
I've seen someone on Facebook doing some lovely exhibition AI. So the photographs of the exhibition, but they've made them animated. It's fantastic. It looks really nice.
It was spooky. I saw those.
Yeah.
Spooky stuff, wasn't it? It was like being back there for a minute.
It was for real. It's superb. Yeah.
It was totally unreal. And I like the ones that Mark Dando's been doing as well, with character options figures.
Oh yes, I've seen them as well. Yeah.
They're quite scary. You think, anyone, what's going on? Daryl is saying, anyone can do that survey. You just need an account. I did it myself the other day. I went to town with the last question, what can we do to improve?
It was, how long have you got? Then 6 pages later. Yeah.
I love it. I love that. That's brilliant. Yeah. I bet they change it now so you can only do about that much.
Yeah.
I wonder if they actually read the blooming thing, though. Or that it's just another tick boxing exercise. That's what I'm thinking about,
It's probably just to pretend that they're seeking feedback to improve, but they won't use any of it at all.
Exactly. Exactly. A lot of you with this. Peter Harrington, 75 quid for ideology. It ain't cheap. It's not. R. John, £75. Magic Stew, £75. That's about a month's worth of fish and chips and a few pints down the pub. Which pub
At
do you go?
least. Yeah.
It's about £15 for fish and chips these days, isn't it? Tim Kintz, £75 plus travel plus drinks to watch Shooty in a neon pink dress crap all over Oscar Wilde. Actually, I know that some of them start at £75, but I know they go up, guys. So I think, a mate of
Can I
mine
say
paid
Oscar Wilde wasn't in that particular show? Sorry.
I would have paid to see that.
Yeah, so would I. Yeah.
But what we got, a mate of mine paid £95 for some show recently, and I said, "Are you absolutely insane?" That's London people. They are insane. They're wrapped in their own little bubble. All within the M25.
Everything's going a bit crazy. Even if you book for a band or a singer to do a concert, some of these prices are ridiculous. I mean, I don't know if you saw when the Oasis thing came out when they were doing their reunion tour, and the prices of those tickets were ridiculous. Honestly,
I resented paying £20 for them the first time round. I wasn't paying over £300 this time round. You can bugger off. Rose Kirby, hello Rose. I never used to say the numbers. I tried to remember the names, but it was convenient just to say the numbers. But I stopped at 13, as did millions of others. Oh, brilliant. Nice to see you, Rose. And Paul Schlafter saying, British television used to be the best in the world. All the wonderful dramas and comedies made back in the day. Literally, there's nothing anymore apart from awful reality television, quiz shows and soaps. Well, I totally agree with you, Mr. Schlafter, honestly, because I look at all this stuff. And isn't it interesting how these repeat channels are fairly successful with their views, because they get ratings as well, and they are healthy. They're doing okay. And in some cases, we found out that Last of the Summer Wine from 20 years ago, 25 years ago, whatever, is actually getting the same or more than the current Doctor Who series.
That would not surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me at all.
You would think that these industry people, Paul, would look at those and say, well, why are our old shows more in demand than the new shows? Oh, the new shows are crap.
Well, if they look at the old shows, they'll just try and redo them. They did a version of Porridge a couple of years ago.
Did they?
Yeah, that was a new version of it. I can't remember who played. It was kind of based on Porridge. They had Ronnie Barker's alleged character's nephew in prison, but they had the same kind of character dynamics. It wasn't very good at all, really, for such a classic show, but they just remake Last of Summer Wine and make it like they did with, I don't know, Wurzel Gummidge or something, or make it diverse in places and stuff like that, and they'll have whatever they had in it,
You see, that passed me by completely. I don't necessarily believe in remaking some of the stuff when we've got talent out there who could come up with good new stuff. Yeah. Although I think there's going to be a lull for years now, because we've got kids coming up who haven't been brought up on good stuff like we were, in my opinion. I'd love to know the ratings for all the classic old shows playing daily on live TV, says Legion of James. I know I only watch those channels for Murder, She Wrote on great TV to the likes of Talking Pictures channel. Well, I can tell you that they're available and they're okay. They're good stuff. In fact, they're comparable with what's on now. Like we were talking about the Genius thing with Tennant earlier. Some of them get more than that. And that was 9 o'clock on a main channel.
As you said before, I'm hoping the repeats of Spearhead onwards on You and Eden will actually give us some good viewing figures to contend with. So, Bedweer, get your star out and do some counting.
Yeah, as some of you were saying in the chat, and Paul just said there, Bank Holiday Monday from the morning. I think it was 9 o'clock, wasn't it, Paul? But Pertwee is back. He is the Doctor. He would love that. He would love that if he was here. Yeah. Spearhead from Space starts on You and Eden on Monday morning here in the UK. And you can watch all 4 episodes throughout the morning, and then again in the afternoon, and then again in the evening. Great stuff.
And hopefully they can consolidate all those views.
I think they possibly will.
Yes, I probably will,
yeah. Well, we got, it's great to see you all. Thank you very much, everybody, for joining us here. And it's brilliant. I like this one from David B. Does the survey end with, are you male, female, or non-binary? Oddly, a few weeks ago, after unsubscribing from a well-known film podcast, I was emailed a survey about the show, and this was the last question. It should now all start to be phased out, but we'll see. In this country, it will see, because again, it was a lot of misinformed bandwagon jumpers that just, this makes us look good. But a lot of the businesses now are backtracking, so it's going to take time, but we should get there. And Digital Pollution is saying, I'm glad I have over 20, what's that, Paul? TB of old TV shows in my personal archive I can watch anytime. Okay,
What's
well,
TV?
You've got 20 things you can watch, Digital Pollution.
Yeah.
For you. I'm like that. If I very rarely watch television because I don't like it. And if I do, it's a repeat +1 channel. And it'll be something from back in the day. Most of my source material now comes from the Tube of Who, though.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
I've been watching all sorts of things. I've been watching Morecambe and Wise. I've been watching Dick Emery because I love that. I've been watching Larry Grayson's Generation Game. I've been watching Bruce's Generation Game. I've been watching all these things from when I was a kid, and they still make me laugh.
Oh, they're good. They're really good stuff. Yeah, superb.
The stuff that we grew up on, they make me laugh. But what have we got? Yes, so that's great. We've got lots of you there saying, "Oh, look at that!" David Shaw saying, "Bring back Terrorhawks." I remember. I've got all that on DVD. Remember Terrorhawks, Paul?
I do. I'm not a big. I have to say, people are going to hate me. I'm not a big fan of Jerry Anderson. I have to say, I'm not a big fan.
Oh, they won't hate you. You're allowed to. Rewind Rewind is showing Map and Lucia.
Oh, I remember Map and Lucia. Yeah.
Wasn't Colin Baker in that?
He may have been. I don't know, but that was Geraldine McEwen and Penella Scales, wasn't it?
Yeah. I'm sure Colin was in an episode of that.
He may have been.
We should all watch the Pertwee episodes to give classic Who great viewing figures, says Bill Larry. It's on New and Eden on Monday.
I'll just leave it on in the background, at least do that.
Rocky O, thank you for your super chat. Bring back Morecambe and Wise. Here. Well, yeah, bless them.
Well, if you've seen Jurassic Park, I'm sure they could do the same with Morecambe and Wise. I'm sure they can. It's
a shame, though, that we didn't get anybody today of that caliber.
There's a great, I've forgotten, there's a double act who do they've done a play about Morecambe and Wise. I've forgotten the name of them. They're really, really, really good, superb. And I saw the play in the Fringe a couple of years ago, and they've been touring it ever since, and they're really, really good.
Okay, we'll have to find out who that is then. A lot of these comedians, though, can't get the break on television now, though, because of the whole DEI extreme left-wing ideology held by the production companies and by the broadcasters, so a lot of them, they might be out there, they just can't get the break.
Yeah.
Anyway, I thought that was an interesting article in the Metro from Tom Percival, who he seems to think that the BBC is making the mistake, but he also reckons, fixing the mistake rather, but he reckons that it's too late now and they should have had it planned. I quite like Mr. Percival in the fact that he's being brave enough to write this stuff.
He's sane and rational by all accounts, which is unusual.
Especially for the Metro.
Yeah,
definitely. All right, everybody. So we're going to move on now. And this is the bit that you're all excited about because, yes, this is the bit where we get to look forward to the next episode of Ncuti Gatwa RTD Disney Who, which is, of course, tomorrow. And will it be the BBC's and Doctor Who's lucky day? Will those ratings go up? We'll soon find out. But this is the one, Lucky Day, that's written by this chap. This, of course, is Pete Mctighe. Now, Pete Mctighe I think it's fair in saying that he's a sort of fan favourite, isn't he, Paul?
Well, I think mainly because of his lovely collection set trailers. I think everyone's loved them, and they were a labour of love, I think, for Pete Mctighe. And I think he did a great job on that. If you've seen the Jodie era stuff, he did 2 episodes for Jodie's Doctor, and they were just they were okay, but nothing special. But then he had Jodie as the Doctor, so what can I say? But but people I think like him because of the collection set stuff. I think because I think the last one he did that was really good was the season 15 with Leela on Gallifrey. That was absolutely amazing. So
yeah, and he did that one with Joe and the Sea Devil, didn't he?
Yeah. And then the one with was it with Professor Jones as well, with the Autons and all that kind of stuff. But some really good stuff.
Sophie.
Yeah.
The one with Sophie and the.
Oh, I forgot the one with Vicky as well, and Troy with her granddaughter and all that stuff. That was some really good stuff. Really good.
Yeah. There are some people, of course, who want Pete Mctighe to be the next showrunner of Doctor Who. It doesn't really sit with me, I have to be honest. I know he's a fellow fan, but
We'll just get more of the same. If he's
I think so.
Yeah,
I think so.
yeah.
I think personally, Paul, we need to have a complete reboot of this sort of stuff. We need somebody who is not going to feel any loyalty at all towards the RTD, Moffat, or Chibnall eras.
No, I agree. I mean, I think you want to try and do something different. We can't just keep rehashing fan fiction again. So.
Tim Kins is reminding me that Peter also wrote all the tales of the TARDIS except for the 5th Doctor Mctighe one.
Oh, really? Did Russell write that one then? Because that one's very schmaltzy. Because did you watch them? I can't remember if you watched them or not. Did you watch them?
I did, but I've forgotten them.
Yeah, they're not. The only one I really liked was the Stephen and Vicky one. That one was really lovely. I liked that one.
Yeah. Yeah. But those Tales from the TARDIS ones, they were just a bit of a letdown for me, actually.
They're a bit cheesy. That's the thing. They're a bit schmaltzy, a bit cheesy, a bit new Who-y rather than sort of Doctor Who-y, But...
Exactly. And the goat, is he the token white straight man amongst diverse writers? Yes, quite frankly, he
Probably,
is.
yeah.
George is saying Kablam. So that's the episode for Whittaker he wrote.
He did two, the Kablam and was it Praxius he wrote, I think, as well. I can remember Kablam, that was on about like Amazon in space with robots, robot delivery men. And then we had the other one, Praxius, which was about pollution and plastics and stuff. So that was really, really exciting stuff.
Oh. Well, you're right with that one, because Woodhouse 122 is saying the Jodie episodes were awful, especially Praxius. Praxius?
Yeah.
Wasn't that a Klingon moon in Star Trek 6?
I don't know, it sounds like a soap or something as well, doesn't it? Or a deodorant or something, yeah.
It does. Tom Go to us there that Mctighe is another Chibnall as well. Yeah, and as I say, we've got to just cut the cord, and it has to happen at some point. We've got to cut the cord from all these cliques that are all together. You're right, Rory and Cheryl. He did go on to write Wentworth, which was huge, wasn't it? It was.
Now, is Wentworth like a remake of Prisoner Cell Block H? Is that kind of what it is? Is it?
I don't know. Rory and Cheryl make that.
Is Pete Mctighe Australian? Is he? I don't know.
I'll see if it says in this, because we've got some articles about him now. Kirsty's back with us, by the way, in the chat. Kirsty is saying Kablam was awful. Raymond's saying to us, the next Doctor needs to be a white male. The time for experimenting has come and gone. That's why we've got to wait, I think, Raymond, for the industry to settle down a bit and all this nonsense to actually dissipate and for reality to come back. Because can you imagine if they did that? There would be a small minority of very, very loud people in the media that would call them for everything.
Yeah.
Which is ridiculous. It's very racist, actually. John is saying to us, the problem is having a showrunner. We need an executive producer and a script editor who does not write any stories. I totally agree. I totally agree. Let's have it back to the old way, quite frankly. Call us old-fashioned. And Tony Farrell's TARDIS, I agree with JT, but I would go further. The BBC needs to be stripped of all DEI initiatives and get some diversity of thought in its ranks. I mean, the fact is we've reported on headlines before, they're spending 80 million pounds worth of license fee payers' money on new DEI programs this year, next year, and into the next one. I would have put that into production.
Yeah,
quite frankly, what the BBC is supposed to do. These people are terrible. I'm sorry, but it's run by ridiculous people who got bad education in university and colleges, I reckon. Wrestling reviewer Daniel, good to see you, my friend. How are you? I think it needs to go because it's continuing to be damaged and I don't see who could bring it back. It's a good point because I've been thinking about this recently, Dan. I don't see anybody that could bring it back right now either.
No, we all hoped that Russell was going to do it. And look where we are now.
The only one I could think of doing it, of course, is now doing Bergerac with Toby.
Oh, Toby would be great. Yeah, definitely, yeah.
He's got a hit on his hands again. Another hit, by the way. He's had hit after hit after hit after hit, both here and in the States. So he's not going to give up Bergerac now.
No,
I'm quite right. He shouldn't. If he left Bergerac now, it'd probably fall, to be honest, and that's not what they're going to want.
He should have been offered Doctor Who after Moffat, to be honest. But
of course he should have. Yeah. Either that or he rested the show then.
Yeah.
But I think he would have been brilliant. I think he would have kept it Doctor Who. I still have an excellent idea, says Magic Stew, of how I think I would rescue Doctor Who, or at least repair some of the damage that's already been done. Have you? Well, you can share it with us if you like. and let us know. If not, copyright it and don't.
Yeah.
but we're going to crack on because I want to get into this because, yes, we are going to start looking at the show. This is from the latest edition of bleedingcool.com. Doctor Who Lucky Day writer Pete Mctighe on penning Ruby's return. Lucky Day writer Pete Mctighe discusses joining the Doctor Who universe and this weekend's Ruby's Sunday-focused adventure. So there's your your lead into this. It's a Ruby Sunday-focused adventure. Well, this is the Doctor Light. Let's see what they're going to say. Again.
Yeah.
Pete Mctighe has been a major part of Doctor Who for the last few years. He wrote Kablam for Chibnall and Whittaker's run. He has written the short films featuring past Doctors and companions for the new remastered Blu-ray season box set that also serve as trailers for these releases, and has written episodes of Tales of the TARDIS streaming on the iPlayer. He is co-writer of the upcoming spin-off, The War Between the Land and the Sea, with showrunner Russell T. Davies. This week's episode, Lucky Day, is his first solo episode for this season of Doctor Who, featuring the return of Millie Gibson as Ruby Sunday, as she tries to live a normal life after leaving the TARDIS. The BBC released an interview with Mctighe, who shared some insights from both sides of the camera regarding this weekend's thrilling, that's his one-word description, episode. Mctighe on writing for Doctor Who. Doctor Who is the reason I'm a writer, the reason I work in television. It's my favourite thing in the world, so it feels like coming home. This was my lucky day. Working with RTD and the Bad Wolf team is always such a brilliant experience. I've created and showrun my own shows and written hundreds of hours of television, but nothing beats Doctor Who. I've literally had the best couple of years of my career working with Russell on Tales of the TARDIS, Lucky Day, and The War Between the Land and the Sea. It's been a total joy. Mctighe teases Lucky Day. What I loved about writing this episode was being able to explore what happens when the Doctor isn't around, when he's off saving other planets. Instantly, without the Doctor, there's more jeopardy for the human characters. The stakes are higher, and they're pushed to places they wouldn't necessarily have to go if he was there to save the day. Of course, the Doctor is in the episode in a very significant way, but really, Lucky Day is Ruby's story. I love what Millie Gibson did in her first season, so being able to come in and develop a character even further was really exciting. Throughout all of Doctor Who, with the exception of Sarah Jane Smith, we've never really explored what happens to someone after they stop travelling with the Doctor and how those adventures impacted them. I loved being able to delve into that aspect of the character. I also enjoyed developing Jonah Hauer-King's character Conrad, Ruby's new boyfriend. He's someone who adores Ruby and wants to be as brave and heroic as the Doctor, but in doing so, he puts himself and Ruby in terrible danger. We've got a great new monster in this episode as well. It's savage and terrifying and cannot be reasoned with. No, it's not RTD. It was also a massive treat to be able to write for Unit, for Kate, for Shirley, and for Colonel Ibrahim, who swoop in to help Ruby and Conrad from the horrors that have been unleashed. Oh, and for the classic series fans, we also have Paul Jericho in the episode. He played the Castellan, an officious shady Time Lord during Peter Davison's era. He's playing a new character now, the publican Alfie. Or is he? Maybe the Castellan wasn't killed in the Five Doctors, but he escaped the destruction of Gallifrey and ended up running a pub in an English village. Much better. Let's go with that.
Oh no, not the mind probe. Yeah.
Hey, do you know what? It's going to be nice to see Paul Jericho because he's in very.
Yeah, that's a shame. I like to spot old Doctor Who actors in new series episodes. That spoiled it for me now. That's rotten, terrible.
Oh, I'm sorry. Spoilers.
It's okay. That's fine. It's okay. I'll let you on. but it's interesting. This it really is. You know that. This is Doctor Light, you know. Why? How many times have they done the thing about the Doctor not being there? What happens when he's not there, and how do we cope? We've done this so many times before. I want the Doctor in this, for goodness sake. I know Ruby's character is really good, Millie's really good, but why Doctor Light? 8 episodes. Why can't he be in every episode properly as the Doctor? You know.
Yeah.
William Hartnell did 44 episodes a year and he missed like 2 weeks or something. Come on, it's only 8 episodes, for God's sake, you know?
You get that off your chest, Paul.
Telling
him. You keep telling him that because, you know, correct.
Yeah.
The rumour is, Who viewers, by the way, he says being an utter biatch, is that the workload was too much.
Really? God. Is he one of those people who can't do an 8-hour shift without complaining about it? Is he? Yeah.
If that's true, it's because it took him out of London. I told you they all function in London, and that's it. Yeah. You know, they hate it. Carwin, I mean, K9 and Company and the Sarah Jane Adventures followed someone after they finished traveling with the Doctor, so that's not true. It is a bit weird, Carwyn, isn't it? How the article says that, with the exception of Sarah Jane, we haven't seen any. Well, well, hello, it's there anyway. And whose fault is it if you didn't do the Romana spin-off when we needed one?
Yeah.
Ron Sapp, it sounds like RTD wrote this. Well, I'm sure the BBC studios through RTD did sign it off.
Yeah.
Duncan wants to know whatever happened to Joe Lidster. He could be a decent showrunner. He's still out there somewhere, isn't he? No, do you know Joe?
I don't know him personally, but I know who he is. I mean, I know he's done lots of Big Finish stuff and wrote lots of Sarah Jane Adventures things as well. Really good writer, I think. Yeah, he did a great Big Finish one called Master, which is just McCoy and the Master in it. It's really good. Part of the trilogy of villains. It had Omega, Davros, and the Master. It's a cracking episode. Philip Maddox in it as well, which is really good.
That's right.
Yeah.
And he did book. It'd be out there somewhere. But again, I would want the cord cut. I would want fresh. I would want something new, so that I could think, oh, hang on a minute. But good point there. Graham, not that I care, as I won't be watching, but to have a story without the Doctor hardly in it, I find not to my taste. But I guess I'm not the target audience these days. Well, none of us are, obviously.
Why make Doctor Who if the Doctor's not in it? What's the point?
I know. Woodhouse122 is agreeing with you. With only 8 episodes, there should be no Doctor Light episodes.
And they all should be good episodes, not fluffy ones.
Yeah. David saying to us, not much of the Doctor in Lucky Day, and it happened before in 73 Yards. It's a Doctor Who Light episode again. Anyone agree? It absolutely is, David.
Well, David, I think based on 73 Yards, it hopefully will be very, very good.
Well, it's Millie, isn't it? So we'll soon see. Don't forget, join us 8 o'clock Sunday night here on the channel for our review. Looking forward to it, actually. We've also got this. Dongo saw what I did there. Colonel Abrahams, wasn't he trapped? He was.
Yeah.
Bless him. I think he might still be. John Mason is saying, is Friday a regular Who's Views Day? Yes. It is. Stay with us. Make sure you subscribe, run that bell. Thank you, John. And our John is saying to us, what happens after someone stops traveling with the Doctor? Nothing. That's why it's of no interest.
Yeah.
Good point there, our John. Peter Venkman Fansite wants to know, wasn't he also the Castellan during Tom's run? No. Paul Jericho came into Doctor Who with Arc of Infinity in 1983 and then came back the same year for the 5 Doctors and then was very swiftly dispatched.
We had Milton John's Invasion of Time with the Castellan, didn't we? Who was fabulous. Yes. And then who was it? It was George Pravda as the Castellan in Deadly Assassin. Who was
fabulous, wasn't he?
Amazing.
That lovely voice. It's amazing. I've seen him in so many other cult things now. From the Avengers or the Persuaders or whatever. And when he comes up, I always go, oh, it's the Castellan. And he's always the same, really. I love him for that.
He's a Polish actor, isn't he? I think. And he's in the End of the World, which is great to get that back. So he's really good in that, and of course the Mutants as well. So he has a lot of Doctor Who.
Yeah. But it's lovely when he crops up on something at 7 o'clock in the evening or whatever it is. There he is. I love it.
With Persuaders or A Man in a Suitcase or
one of
Danger
those
Man
things.
Or, all those kind of things.
All those classic British beautiful dramas. Yeah. Every utterance coming out of these productions sounds like a cry for help in a hostage situation, says Problem Being. John again coming back. Oh, no, not the Mind Probe. Worst line delivery in Classic Who. And then over the years...
There's competition for that one, yeah.
Well, but you know what, Paul? John, over the years, though, however, me and certain actor friends of mine have tried to deliver that line in different ways, and we haven't still cracked it yet in that situation. It's not a very good line to say, Mr. Uncle Terry Dix, really. Oh no, not the mind. Oh no, not the Mind Probe. There's all the different ways you can deliver it, and it just doesn't work.
I think for Kenneth Williams to do it, it's quite an appropriate sounding line, isn't it? To be honest,
it would be a funny one. No, Matron, the Mind Probe. Yes. Tim Kins wants to know they are doing another Doctor Light to reprise the ratings high point from last year.
Last year. Let's do that.
Yeah. And Roaring Shell pointing out is called Doctor Bloody Who, not Doctor Where Is He? I reckon people have been saying that since the start, though, because you can't see him. Who's the Doctor tomorrow?
It's like Where's Wally, isn't it? To be honest,
yeah. In fact, I think there's several costume changes for the Doctor tomorrow because, as you'll see, it looks like it's set at different times. I think
there are flashbacky type bits in it. I think, as I understand.
Oh, bless you. Magic Stew's answering us by saying, I'll give you a clue. Long amnesia after regeneration gone wrong. The Doctor is more alienated and afraid of humanity. Remember the speech from Gwen Cooper, Children of Earth, Day 5. Interesting. Was it the books, Paul? BBC Books that had the 8th Doctor with amnesia?
I think so, yes.
It was, wasn't it? I think that was an interesting arc. Went on a bit too long for me, and I got bored eventually. I just wanted the Doctor back, but it was interesting. Yeah. Got to be careful with it all, though, because you can't alienate the Notwees anymore. You've got to bring them in. That's why I would say to not have a fan there. Just write Doctor Who and kickstart it all again.
It's trying to be too clever. That's the thing. Okay, I can appreciate the imagination sometimes when they're trying to be clever, but they need to engage an audience, make it work, and make it entertaining. You know.
Yeah, exactly, and that's the problem, isn't it? That's the trick now. That's what they've got to do. And as I said before on the show, Who viewers, this version of Doctor Who, the last 20 years, has got more baggage with it than the original 26-year run.
Yeah.
So whoever comes to it now is going to have to make a real big, brave executive decision to say, cut the history from that lot. We'll base this on the first run.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not saying erase Doctors 9 to 15 or wherever we're at, although I would, but I would say, you know, just don't get into the continuity of it and just take it back to the Doctor, like it did originally. Oh god, it's a headache. I'm getting a headache thinking about it. Neo, nice to see you. What's the real name of the Doctor? Only few entities know it. River Song knew it in this version, and then that thing we had, the entity on Saturday's show knew it. The Time Lords knew it.
Yeah, is it Frank or something? What is it?
Yeah. There were a few. The Rani knew it. The Master knew it. Of course. Yeah, there were a few people that knew it, didn't they? In the original show as well. But they were Time Lords mainly.
Yeah.
But that's the brilliant thing. We don't need to know. We shouldn't know. We shouldn't know. Okay, so let's get into this again now. We're going back to that. Now, they mentioned there the new monster. Remember a few months ago we showed you this picture? There he is.
No, I don't mind these. I think they look intriguing, but they're all CGI though, aren't they? By all accounts, probably.
I think they are actually, Paul. It's a shame actually, because that one looks like a nice little model.
Yeah.
But there it is. Now we're going to be reading out very soon as to what it's called. So please don't ask me right now because I can't remember.
It looks like a gargoyle or something, doesn't it? Really, almost.
Yeah, it is.
Is it Screech or something like that? Is
something like that.
Yeah.
It's something like that. So let's have a look at the episode. Now, of course, the latest edition of Doctor Who magazine did include a preview of Lucky Day. So let's see what they said. If you've been missing Ruby, it's definitely your lucky day because the Sunday Girl is back. It's time to find out what she's been up to since stepping out of the TARDIS, and who better to tell us than this story's writer, Pete Mctighe, a Doctor Who fan all his life. A lot of the story is really about Ruby figuring out who she is now after the events of season 1 and how she's changed and what she's going to do next, says Pete. Quite often the Doctor's companions go through hell and then either return to their normal lives or get married or trapped in another dimension. And we very rarely see the real emotional fallout of the time they spent with the Doctor. This is a big turning point for Ruby, and she is forced to confront for the very first time what happened to her in that last series. What did happen to her? Was it Borden? That's a really interesting... No, I don't either. That's a really interesting character journey that we've never really been on before, so it feels really fresh and exciting. Unit are also back to support Ruby. Surprise, surprise. So, alongside the emotion, there'll be plenty of action and a brand new monster, the Ferocious Shriek. Gemma Redgrave, Ruth Madley, and Alexa Deviant are back in their regular roles, and we get another look inside the slick and striking Unit Tower. This story escalates, says director Peter Hoare, also a long-term fan of the show. It just gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And I think that's what's so wonderful about it. It's a very good Unit story. I love Kate and Shirley and Colonel Ibrahim, and they appear so strongly. They make such big decisions. It's a very new modern Unit, but it also reminds me of those days in the John Pertwee era, because we end up in a gorgeous little village, a bit like Devil's End from the Demons in 1971. I think the fans will see they are not dissimilar. We've got an action story, we have romantic comedy, and we have gothic horror in the village. So it's like 3 genres all in one. Producer Vicky Dello is excited by the opportunity to ramp up the drama even more than in season 1. We did a big helicopter shoot at night, and that was really exciting, she says. We've never had a proper real helicopter before, even though we've pretended we have. So it felt like we were on a big movie, and it looks fantastic. I think we have learned as a crew to work together to cope with how big it is, which has really helped. But what is brilliant and what keeps us all challenged is that RTD is always throwing new things at us that we have to figure out how to do. This story's main guest star is Jonah Hauer-King. I hope I'm saying that right. As lovable, cheeky podcaster Conrad, who many will recognise from his role as Prince Eric, playing opposite Halle Bailey in Disney's live-action version of The Little Mermaid. Well, that's another one that did very well, I'll tell you. His character falls for Ruby, then puts his life at risk when he tries to prove he's as brave as the Doctor. Those two are dynamite together, says Vicky. And I think the viewers will really enjoy their story. Mctighe is just as enthusiastic about Jonah. He has been brilliant. He's a dream to work with. Lucky Day allows Millie Gibson to take centre stage as she did so convincingly in season 1, 73 Yards. We get a real insight into how UNIT operates and take a sharp look at how this colossal but semi-secret organisation fits contemporary Britain. On top of this, we also see the return of Ruby's family and a terrifying predatory monster that is determined to feed and won't let anyone or anything get between it and its chosen prey. Pete Mctighe explains that thinking behind this way of telling the story, Ruby is at the heart of this episode. This is a very particular kind of monster and challenge, a creature she's encountered before, actually, and she's obviously got the backing of UNIT, but she's also very much out on her own as well. But, of course, we also have the Doctor too. The level of emotional depth Ncuti brings to the character is really exciting. His passion and fire and unpredictability, says Pete. They're all qualities that many of the Doctors have, but Ncuti just elevates them to another level. He feels like a Doctor who's really free for the first time and kind of unshackled. Peter Hoare, the director, agrees Ncuti is unique. This story gives us what is probably his darkest moment in terms of who the Doctor is and what he represents. I think this is a good episode to watch more than once. The more times I watch, see the desperation there. The more times I watch it, the more times I would see little tiny details that you can read different ways. He's the blooming director. What's he saying? It all sounds terribly exciting, but we still haven't answered the big question. Whose lucky day is this? It's my lucky day, says Mctighe. Watching this episode brought to life, I do feel like a very lucky person. What do you make of that, Paul?
I think it's interesting they're saying that that Ncuti is unpredictable. I predict he's going to cry this episode, even though he's only in it for about a short space of time.
Ron Sapp agrees. He's going to cry again. Oh my goodness! I mean, that was Doctor Who magazine, everybody. So you have to expect.
It's also desperate as well, like you said, that you have to watch it again because it's so good. Yeah, just to boost the figures. Yeah,
it made me laugh. The Terrified Monk is saying, "Please watch more than once."
Yeah.
And they're speaking to a target audience for those of them that are actually buying Doctor Who magazine at $7.99 per month that are going to do that anyway. But I just thought that was, I don't know, weird.
It's kind of they are desperately trying to sell this, and they're really struggling because out of all that, again, we've said this many times before, it's all kind of word salad again, isn't it? It's much the same as we've had before. You know, bestest episode ever wasn't in that article, but may as well have been, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Lots of you in the chat commenting. Let's go and have a look, Paul. Domgo is saying, oh dear, this is a really shit one. John Steed is saying, Gatwa looks like he is dressed as the Artful Dodger. Tony Farrell's TARDIS. Why spend money on a real helicopter when it's been convincingly realised without one before? All style and no substance.
They've not seen Classic Who. How many times did they have a helicopter in Classic Who? Loads of times.
Yeah, and also because, you know, they can. We're going to be looking at Battlefield on the channel very soon as a tribute to Gene Marsh. That's got a helicopter in it.
Yeah.
You know, let's compare the two, shall we? And we've also got with Tim Kins. Adds with 73 yards. I'm actually up for watching Millie get as much as she can from an episode where she's free from trying to make it believable that Ruby and Ncuti are best friends who met yesterday. Yeah. It's all going to come out one day, I tell you.
I wonder. I do wonder what will come out about why Ruby had left or was fired or whatever. Then she came back again. Why all that was moved about? I don't think it was just to do repeating of what they did with Martha. I don't think it was that kind of idea, but I would like to know why she left and came back again. What changed that? You know, why they just end her story there, leave it, and then carry on with a new companion? Or was she fired? What happened? Yeah. But...
Do you know, when people say to me, and when they e-message me or they come on the show, whatever, and they'll say, you know, without Doctor Who, you've got nothing to talk about. Without the show being on air, you've got nothing to talk about on your channel. Well, yes, we have, because it's things like that we're going to be discussing when the books come out, the interviews come out. Yeah. It's going to keep us going for years, because there's so many stories waiting to be told about this entire reboot since 2005 onwards. Because
there's even the stuff still coming out about William Hartnell, why he left the show. You know, they keep getting more and more information that comes out, and that was, you know, 55 years ago, 60 years ago. You know, incredible.
Exactly.
You know?
Anthony Parkin is saying this sounds abysmal. You've seen nothing yet. Wait till we get to the rest of them. Third Doctor Andrew, yes, this is a bloody insult. Pertwee era is nothing like this rubbish.
Yeah.
I think we're all agreed there. And thank goodness Third Doctor Ian isn't with us to hear that as well. Oh, John is saying this sounds truly dreadful. What dreck? Ooh. What else we got? Robert Payne saying she's got support, but is without support on her own with others helping her. This is nonsense.
Yeah.
We'll soon know, because it's going to be out tomorrow, everybody. Julianne Goodman, as brave as this doctor. Laugh. Our John also saying to us, I thought Millie was good in 73 yards, but that story was rubbish too. I was a bit let down by it, if I remember correctly.
It started off well, didn't it? The first half, before she left the village, was really good, and then she left the village and a bit meh, didn't it? Really?
Yeah, it did a bit. I thought it was going to be a bit sort of Terror of the Zygons-y.
Yeah, or Image of the Fendali or something like that in a pub kind of thing, you know.
Yeah, and it didn't go that way at all, did it? Woodhouse 122, I write loads of old white usual rubbish from Doctor Who magazine. Craig Dunlop. So reading between the lines, this episode will bring us DEI, member berries, Pearl Wednesday, and mysteries none of us care to get answered.
Yeah.
Probably. Pete Harrington is saying, it's good to touch the green grass of Sefton Park. I hope it's still nice and tidy, Pete. I used to go there a lot at Sefton Park. Lovely place to walk around. Domgo, what are you saying there?
Well, whatever floats your boat, that's fine. Yeah.
That's absolutely outrageous. Timkins saying to us, yes, he's free to do a lot of crying and failing to because hero now. And Shada Knox is saying, howdy. Hello to you. How are you?
Howdy.
Yeah. And Timkins then correcting himself because it's become a hero now. Yeah, got that. Where's the lucky day, says Pete? Well, it's not for us, is it? And Daniel's saying to us, watching paint dry sounds more exciting than this episode. Can Gatwa go one episode without crying? No, is the answer. He can't. Russell didn't want him to, so he doesn't. Graham's saying to us, it sounds absolutely desperate. Please watch twice, I ask you. Yeah. More than twice as well. They must have had a premonition.
Yeah.
You know what was going to happen. I love Battlefield, says Daniel. Great, stay with us. For our tribute episode, all that's in the plan, so stay with us. What else we got there? Forbidden Man's remembering Jamie was on the helicopter and they had to make his kilt heavy, so not really more than you should know.
Yeah.
On the invasion. We loved that, didn't we?
I believe he heard the story. The Queen had them sewn into her skirts or dresses as well, so the Queen wouldn't be seen to be revealing things she shouldn't, royal areas, and he did the same thing, and it worked wonders, you know.
Shada Knox, Millie has a bright future ahead of her. She's got talent, but she'd probably be wise to leave this off her CV.
Yeah.
As I say, the stories will all come out one day, and we'll be here to talk about them with you all. As usual, everybody, I went down to my local Tesco, other supermarkets are available, grabbed all the TV listings magazines for you, had my coffee, and looked through them all, so I can bring you people outside the UK the coverage from our TV listings magazines. Yet again, only 4 covered Doctor Who. Not good at all, and not that big. We're going to start with TV and Satellite Week, who, Paul, over the last few weeks, they've actually given Doctor Who some really nice coverage.
Yeah.
Not this week, because all you're getting is that. That's it. At the bottom of a page, Ruby and her boyfriend battle the evil Shriek, as you can see there, everybody, that's it. Again, most of the write-ups rather, are the same. So we'll go through this. From battling alien cosplayers to coming face to face with the god of death, Ruby Sunday experienced many life-changing moments during her tenure in the TARDIS. After finally tracking down her birth parents in last year's finale, Foundling Ruby, I hate that word, foundling. Foundling Ruby decided to give up her traveling with the Doctor in order to spend some time getting to know her folks. But as she returns in this week's episode, Lucky Day, it's clear that adjusting to life back on Earth has not been straightforward. As well as reconnecting with both her birth parents and her adoptive family, there's been another big change in Ruby's life. Since we last saw her, she now has a boyfriend, Conrad Clark, played by World on Fire actor Jonah Hauer King. Conrad is so sweet and clumsy, says Gibson, who's 20. Ruby loves being able to talk about her adventures with someone who is genuinely interested. This week's episode sees the debut of a new monster, the Shriek, which poses a dangerous threat to the world, prompting Ruby to team up with her old friends at UNIT to save the day once again, with Ruth Madley also returning in this episode as UNIT scientific advisor Shirley Bingham. The past year has been a busy time for Gibson, who is set to star as Irene in Channel 5's up-and-coming adaptation of John Galsworthy's The Forsyte Saga, but she's pleased that her stint in the TARDIS isn't quite over yet. It feels like returning home after a long day, she says. It's so nice to be playing Ruby Sunday in a whole new light. In this season, you see more of a mature, stronger version of Ruby. I'm excited to be back.
I've worked out why she's in it, because Ncuti was unavailable. That's why.
We've got to remember as well, everybody, that these things were filmed back to back. Series 1, Series 2, with just a month break or whatever it was between the seasons. So always remember that, because I remember these pictures of her with this fella, Jonah, in 2024. Must have been 2024 as we were filming it. And then I was quite confused in last year's season where the fella never turned up, because I was expecting him in the first episode.
Yeah.
You know, and she was going to do a rose and leave him, as basically to go off with the Doctor.
I wonder if she's in more than one episode this season, or just this is it. She's in 3.
She's in the finale as well.
Is she? Oh, okay.
With Bonnie.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't aware of that. I haven't seen much other publicity that involved her being in it, but that's interesting.
I think that's the problem, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, it's the problem that they haven't really pushed it anymore. You know, it's as though they've given up hope now. And now with only 4 of the TV listing magazines doing the job, it's not good, is it?
But it's also what's done is it's really frustrating. I don't really care for the character, but Belinda's character, that dilutes her if she's in it as well. You know what I mean? It doesn't give her much a chance for her to develop, does it? If you've got Bonnie, you've got Ruby, you've got probably maybe Rose will be back as well. Probably you are.
No, they would really push that one. If Billy Piper was coming back to the show,
no.
About that.
I meant the
the transgender one.
Yeah.
Well, he did film something for this.
Yeah.
But then there was the whole thing about, well, Bonnie's back.
Yeah.
Remember, I was speculating maybe they recast. We'll soon find out, everybody. It's not long to go now. Push Lefter, do you think the TV mags know it's all over, so can't really be bothered anymore? That's exactly what I was saying, Paul. It's very like that, because there is the only 4 again. And now the coverage, as you'll see, we'll go through a couple more in a minute, isn't as big. There's one that is big. It's either that or they're saving it for the Eurovision one.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah. Probably. I mean, bizarrely, this seems to be the most high-profile episode for a number of reasons. I think they think it's going to be great because it's Eurovision, and everyone seems to think that everyone watches that. And then there's a controversy with Juno Dawson as well, having written it. So there's lots of. Well, they won't touch on that angle. Obviously, they'll keep that bit quiet, but they'll maybe push the novelty aspect of Eurovision, probably. You know.
Yeah. Thanks everybody for all your comments. Keep them coming through as we look through all these. Darren M. Hembro has joined us. Hello, Darren. I'm fed up with the name of Rose. I am now as well.
Yeah.
And it's only because it's a favourite of his, RTG's. You know, most of the shows he's done in the past, there's a Rose in it. Bob and Rose, for example.
Yeah.
Tim Kintz, I don't mean to be condescending, but Millie, 20, talking about how much more mature Ruby is actually quite sweet, bless her heart. So she's been told to say that, really, isn't it? It would have been the brief as well. Yes, so that's it. So that was the first one. So that was the first one. That was TV and Satellite Week. Let's move on to this one. This was TV Times. Now, the TV Times has given Doctor Who, considering that this was traditionally the magazine for the ITV network, the rival to the BBC. This has given it a little bit more coverage. As you can see this week, and it's this week's top 10, they have made Doctor Who number 3, which I think is very generous of them.
Yeah.
I don't know who this fella is, this Jonah Howard King, or however you say his name. Apologies if I'm getting that wrong, who's playing Conrad. But see that picture there with the TARDIS?
I know what you're going to say. I'm thinking exactly the same thing. Yeah.
You say it then.
I think he looks more like the Doctor than Ncuti does.
Doesn't he?
Yeah, that's what you're thinking, wasn't it?
It's exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah, I thought it was.
And that picture was actually was released at the beginning of the week by BBC Studios. And when that picture came up on the press release, I was like, hang on. He looked like the Doctor. Do you not think, Who viewers? Look at that picture on the right there.
Yeah. Maybe Ncuti's an imposter. Maybe that's what the twist is. Yay, that would be more interesting. Yeah.
There does seem to be a twist. So this is the TV Times. Look what else the TV Times did for it. A double spread. A double spread here, everybody. Now, I know you can't read that, so I'm going to read it out for you. The opportunity to travel through space and time might seem to many like an unimaginable privilege, but what happens once the adventure is all over? This is the question at the heart of Lucky Day, the 4th installment, God, only 4, in the current run of BBC One's sci-fi epic Doctor Who, which marks the return of former companion Ruby Sunday, as played by Millie Gibson. Following many thrilling escapades with the 15th Doctor last year, fondly. Yes, this word again.
That's overstating, isn't it? Yeah.
It is. This is where it comes back, Paul, because listen, this is where it comes. You can see that it's a press release because it says again, foundling Ruby departed the TARDIS after finding her birth parents in order to get to know them properly. However, coming back to everyday routines on Earth hasn't been easy, blah, blah, blah. Used to be Look Out the Window in the 2024 Christmas special Joy to the World. I'd forgotten about that. And I think she is waiting for the Doctor, shares Millie, 20, who rose to fame playing teen tearaway Kelly Nealon on Corrie. She's returning to her life and pretending it's back to normal, but she can't really get her head around all the things that she saw while traveling with the Doctor. So she's trying to process all of that. Since viewers last saw her, Ruby has been busy spending time with her birth parents as well as reconnecting with her adoptive mum, Carla. But there's also been another development in life. She now has a boyfriend, Conrad Clark. I absolutely love Jonah. He was just a burst of energy, says Millie. I'm exceptionally excited for people to see what's in store for Ruby's first love interest. I think Conrad gives off the energy that he wants to match up to the Doctor. It's one of those things where your new boyfriend wants to be better than your ex. However, he is just so sweet and clumsy. But danger lies ahead for Ruby and Conrad as a fearsome new monster known as the Shriek comes into their lives. Gethin Alderman, who played the Shriek, was the loveliest person ever, but terrifying, recalls Millie. There's a scene in a cafe in which the director does a really cool nightmarish thing where what Ruby's telling Conrad about the Shriek actually happens. It all melts into one another to make this horror story aspect come to life. To defeat the Shriek, Ruby joins forces with her pals at Unit. Gives all the list there. The plot also sees the return of Shirley Bingham, played by Ruth Madley, who didn't appear in the previous season as she was busy filming BBC One thriller Night Sleeper. And Millie was delighted to finally share some scenes with her. I absolutely loved working with Gemma and Ruth, she smiles. Their characters are like Ruby's third and fourth mothers. There's even a line in the script where Shirley makes a joke about it. As this season go on, you see Ruby and Shirley's relationship develop a lot more. I feel like they both have a northern sense of humour that they can each relate to. While Ruby is excited to be back in the TARDIS, while Ruby is excited to be back in action, her time in the TARDIS has clearly taken a psychological toll on her. Millie promises that this episode won't shy away from that. There's a scene where Ruby talks about all her experiences in the last season, and I love a specific line that Pete Mctighe wrote for her, she explains. She's opening up to Conrad about a post-traumatic stress disorder with her travels with the Doctor. It's a really strong speech that was also kind of humorous because it's so bonkers what she's experienced. And then it goes on to say, Millie's also been busy since finishing filming on Doctor Who, and she'll be back on our screens in Channel 5's upcoming adaptation of the Forsyte saga, playing dancer Irene Heron. And why she's not revealing exactly how long Ruby will be sticking around for, Millie is glad that she got to step into the Whoniverse again. And then it's the same quote as before, blah, 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 blah. So, yeah, interesting. So basically what this is about as well is a story based around an unscreened Doctor Who story with the Doctor and Ruby. So that's in this.
Yeah.
Plus the Doctor and Belinda, who of course can't get back to the time they want to on Earth.
Yeah.
So there's that going on. And then there's this other element going on with Conrad. Viewers are set to find out more about Ruby Sunday's new boyfriend, Conrad Clark, in this week's episode, including the fact that she isn't his only connection to the Doctor. Conrad meets the Doctor when he is a young boy, and from that point, he's obsessed with him, reveals Jonah, who's 29. Why are they putting people's ages? He idolizes the Doctor on some level and has dedicated a lot of his life to finding out about him and trying to meet him. When we meet Conrad, he's running a podcast that, at least in part, focuses on sightings of the Doctor. He's a super fan. Does this ring any bells for you?
Yeah,
Having that experience,
Linda lot. Yeah.
Having that experience with the Doctor means that Conrad is one of the few people who Ruby can truly open up to about everything she's gone through, and Jonah enjoyed exploring that dynamic with co-star Millie Gibson. Without giving too much away, the episode is very much about their relationship, he teases. I hadn't seen Millie in Doctor Who when I filmed this episode, as her first season on the show hadn't come out yet, but I was immediately struck by her talent and her warmth. We were on set together all day, every day for a few weeks, and we had so much fun. Whether Ruby and Conrad's relationship is built to last remains to be seen, but Jonah believes that the fans have a real treat in store this episode. The episode has a lot of what we've come to expect from Doctor Who, with the heart, the soul, the monsters, and the scares. But I think there's something particularly grounded and unique about it, he explains. I'm a big fan of RTD, so any chance to work with him was very appealing, and it was great that it happened to be on Doctor Who. So, the picture that we showed from the previous magazine, TV and Satellite Week, where was that? Sorry, hang on a minute. No, it wasn't. I've got it coming up. It's not in that one, is it? No, where is it? There's a picture. I might have it here, but you may have seen it. It's where Gatwa is wearing. Oh, there it is. That one.
The beanie, yeah, as well, and
that little boy on the right is Conrad.
Yeah. So it's a rehash of Love and Monsters, then, is it? Yeah.
Do you think?
Well, you've got the wee boy. That was the same part that Mark Warren played. He saw the Doctor. He was little, then grew up, became obsessed with the Doctor, and then he had all the fans and Linda and all that kind of thing, you know. So sounds a bit like it, doesn't it?
It does seem a bit. When I read that, I thought, "Oh, hang on a minute. I've seen this story before." But again, we will find out. Ron Satt wants to say he looks like a young McGann.
He does. That's what I thought when he's holding the door of the TARDIS, like that publicity shot with Paul and the candle, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a lot of you agreeing he looks more like the Doctor.
Yeah.
He's a white man though, so inherently toxic, says Anthony Parkinson.
He's a baddie, obviously, clearly, yeah.
Of course it is. Everything like that's toxic, isn't it? It's absolutely outrageous. Paul Schlatter I was thinking the same. He looks great.
Yeah.
And Julianne saying, to be fair, anyone standing next to a TARDIS looks more like the Doctor. God, are we only on the 4th episode? Will it never end? Said Philip.
That's what I was thinking, Philip. Yeah.
I hope we don't have to see Ruby's 15 mums, as Dom go. Yeah, that's a Doctor Who episode, isn't it?
That's next season. Yeah.
The 15 mums.
Yeah.
Oh, John has said more bloody soap opera. I hate RTD. Well, he's turned the show into it, doesn't he? And it's not working. It's not working because they're not watching. Dalek Lives Matter is saying supposedly Conrad is interested in Ncuti. Well, that's the character, isn't it? Conrad is interested in the Doctor. So is he using Ruby to somehow get to the Doctor? Is there more to him? I don't know. Legion of James. I know I said after I dropped in to look at looks, I would never again, but I may look at this to see what Millie is like, as I get the impression if she appeared with another Doctor, she would have been great. It's hard to say. And Uncle Tom's Cabbage has joined us. Hello, Uncle Tom's Cabbage. I do not care about these characters. They've got nothing to do with Doctor Who.
I had heard a rumour, I don't know if it's true or not, where that Conrad may be attracted to the Doctor.
Oh, I see. Really?
Yeah, so that's like here we go, another Doctor relationship again, which has already been done already.
Could they do that in 46 minutes? Could they really put all... Oh, yeah, they could. It's RTD. Of course they could. I can't believe, says Problem Being, we are only halfway through. This agony feels like it's been dragged out for years. Soap, says Raymond Williams. I used to watch Soap on Friday nights when I was a kid. Do you remember that?
I used to love Soap. Yeah, great comedy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Billy
so,
Crystal, superb. Yeah. Right,
yeah. And the dummy. Craig Dunlop is in. A boyfriend, a genuine he/him boyfriend. I'm white. Get with the program, RTD. You are utter disgrace. I know. How dare he? We have got Julianne saying, "Oh, great mental health issues." Yes, because she's suffering from something called PTSD.
This will be the third time they're doing mental health. They did it with Vincent the Doctor. They did it. Can You Hear Me for Jodie, and this is now the third time they're doing it. It's like, oh God.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And here we go. Peter Venkman fansite saying, "Oh God, it's dated already." The same story, says Philip. Isn't this monster? Says Julianne.
Yeah.
Darren is saying to Darren and Embro, saying, "Oh, it's another Love and Monsters." I'm glad I'm not the only one when reading this that put through.
Everyone wants a sequel to Love and Monsters, don't we? Let's be honest.
So I started this journey at 6 years old, watching Tom Baker fighting Zygons and the Loch Ness Monster, says Domgo. And today I'm watching a show about some girl and her boyfriend. Yawn. Yeah, it's Corrie and EastEnders all over. Hello to Joey. Nice to see you, Joey. Hey, JT and Paul. It's been years since I pulled my jaw out yawning. Ouch. Hope you're all right. Oh, wow. Ow, ow, ow. That happens when you get older as well, isn't he? Is he Clive's son, says David Mctighe?
Oh, that's an interesting thought.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Clive's son, seriously, says Rob. And that trope has been used so many times in movies, not just in Love and Monsters. I know it's so boring now, isn't it?
But it's not unusual for him to rehash his own material, though, is it? Let's be honest.
Oh, it's like I've been saying, though, isn't it, Paul? This seems to be a greatest hit of his first era in different episodes put together because he can't do it. There's no originality for him. Remember when he actually stepped down originally? He said, "I've run out of ideas" or something like that. I'm paraphrasing. Boy, was he right. Oh, boy, this episode is more microwave leftovers, says Daniel. Complete crap by the sound of it, says Anthony Parkinson. And Peter Venkman fansite saying, "A big fan." That's like being a Kurtzman Trek fan saying it's better than the original Star Trek. No, it's a rehash of Rose 2, says Daryl. And if it was a prequel for Love and Monsters, you could say it paving stone the way, Teamkins. Yeah. Some of you talking about the possible ratings for tomorrow as well. Jess is saying it's bank holiday weekend here in the UK for those not in the know. So guess where that is taking the viewers? It's also going to be quite good weather. So I think, yes, again, tomorrow, good weather in the UK. Seaside's calling. Sunday and Monday off.
Yeah.
We're not going to be sitting in front of the telly, are we? You know, I don't think so.
GT, even if it was chucking it down outside, they'll still not be watching it. So
that's true. It's true. Legion James is passing his mind though. Second thoughts. I'm going to pass on this now. And Uncle Tom's Cabbage saying maybe RTD will call it something original, like Monsters and Love. Yeah. That would be original as well. Yeah. So we've got that. We'll soon know, everybody. But that was the TV Time. One more thing for the TV Times was this. It does make it onto its pick of the day page. What has the Doctor's former companion Ruby been up to? It says all the usual stuff that we're expecting there for you, okay, to publicise this. But that's the TV Times, giving it quite a lot of coverage, everybody. Then we move on to what's on TV. Doctor Who does make its more hot picks this week, as you can see there. Not numbered this time around, but there it is on the right. I've blown it up for you. And yes, this is the now infamous white outfit that the alleged Doctor is wearing. I don't know which part of the show this comes in or which part of his timeline this is in. We knew it was coming because we actually used it this time last year to celebrate our first anniversary when we did our birthday show.
Yeah, that's the look of Man at CNA for the older viewers on the channel. That's the thing. Yeah.
CNA. If you're in Europe, you've still got CNA. They pulled out.
Have they really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. And Primani took over the sort of CNA sort of thing, but that stuff's awful. It's great for the kids because it's disposable fashion, isn't it? But it falls one wash and it's done. You know what I mean? Anyway, sorry, I've gone off on a tangent again. Let's get back into that one. But as you can see there, yes, it's making Doctor Who one of its days there. Saturday, 7:10, the usual stuff. It doesn't quite stop because what's on TV also give it this. The pick of the day, which is a smaller feature on the left-hand side there. And then it gives it this small, well, it's about half a page here that it shows. But again, it's the same material that we've read out before, Who viewers. Okay, did you mention the PTSD in this one though? It's such a cool concept to go back to a companion and see how they're doing, explains Millie. Ruby's got a bit of PTSD, and there's a brilliant storyline of how she's getting on with her family. Do you know, I'd forgotten she was actually appeared very quickly in Joy to the World as well.
So did I. Completely forgotten. In fact,
I think we all did, didn't we? Because it was just a quick, wasn't it?
I can't remember
Really?
much about Joy to the World at all. No, it's kind of, I think I blanked it out now, I think. Yeah.
Absolutely. Darren Hembrough was saying to us, if I had the reins of Doctor Who, it would be very much a cross of Sapphire and Steel mixed with the early days of the X-Files. That would be interesting. I would just make Doctor Who, because I missed the days when Doctor Who, Darren, was the market leader in the genre, and other shows had to run to keep up with this. That's what I would try to do. I wouldn't watch any of the other stuff. I would just say, let's do Doctor Who. Let's write a Doctor Who story. That's what I would do.
Yeah.
I'd make sure all the writers and everybody I hired knew what 26 years of brilliant telly looked like and say, that's what we're going to do.
And make it scary. Make it scary. That's one thing that I love that Ennis Lloyd did when he took over from John Wiles and started to make it scary and claustrophobic and monsters and that kind of thing. That's what you want. Roller coaster. That's what you want, you know. But
it's easy for us to look back at those things and say, oh, it was the Based Under Siege episodes, but they bloody worked.
Yeah.
And they still do today.
Yeah.
They really do. And I think the well last week was nearly there.
It was,
you know, I said I was it wasn't fully there for me. I wanted a little bit more. I think that was down though to the writing. I think it was down to the performance from Gatwa, and I don't like the new girl. I think I've decided that now. But with a believable actor in the role for me as the Doctor, I think it might have worked. But anyway, but it
had loads of potential. Yeah.
Yes, it did. And people seem to like it, i.e. fans liked it and the critics liked it. So the Base Under Siege story can work still.
Yeah. It's one of my favourite genres of Doctor Who. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was that one then, everybody. Now let's move on to the Radio Times. The BBC previously owned BBC Magazine. It's now not, but it still pushes a lot of the BBC stuff, doesn't it? And so what does Doctor Who get? This. That's it.
John Craven's back page, eat your heart out.
Yeah. So the one on the left have enlarged slightly, but this is just a teeny weeny part of the day's television programs, Paul.
Oh no, I've just noticed the cast list at the bottom. Oh dear.
Yes.
All the celebs in it. Oh dear.
Well, we're alleged celebs. As we reported on Headlines just a couple of weeks ago, in this particular episode, you have got cameos from Alex Jones, Joel Dommett, and Rita Chakrabarti, because that's what RTD likes to do.
Yeah, Rita Chakrabarti is a newsreader, isn't she? Joel Dommett's a comedian slash presenter, and Alex Jones is a presenter as well, isn't she?
The one show.
Yeah.
But that's all the Radio Times gives to everybody. And of course, you have got the whole Anita Dobson is in it as Mrs. Flood.
Yeah.
You've got
I'm so bored with that. I really am. I'm telling you honestly. Even if she turned out to be the time meddler, I don't really care anymore.
No. You've got several more of it to come, I have to say.
Yeah.
Next week episode, The Story in the Engine. Well, that'll be interesting for Anita Dobson.
Wonder what she will be in that, do you think?
Pale skinned.
That's true. Yeah.
She's the only one in it. It's going to be very interesting next week. Talking of which, The Story in the Engine, which is episode 5 of 8 next week, will be 47 minutes long, and it will be broadcast on BBC One at 7:10. Okay. Both Story in the Engine and Lucky Day are up on the channel here on Who's Views for you now to like. That's the thumbnail you're looking for Lucky Day. We will be back on Sunday, the 4th of May, 8 o'clock UK time, with our review. Really looking forward to it. So come and join us with your take on this latest episode. It's all kicking off. It's all going on. Oof, and then we'll get on to the story.
And it's all coming off, thankfully.
Yeah. Not long until the Eurovision one as well. Let's have a quick look into the chat and see what else you guys are saying. Neo Gear is back from the films and joining us for the cinema. Hello, Neo Gear. How are you? Good to see you. I hope you enjoyed your film. What did you go and see? Hope it was something decent. But it was lovely to see you. What else have we got here? Anybody got anything to say about what we've just looked through there, about these episodes? David is saying maybe Mrs. Flood won't be in this episode because it's called Lucky Day. No, she is. She's in there. Yeah, but I see what you did there. But she's definitely there. She's in all of them. I don't know who those 3 people are, says Digital Pollution.
You're the lucky one.
Yeah. Yeah. We reported on them a couple of shows ago. I don't know why he insists on doing this. It's like the Davina McCall thing again and the Barbara Windsor things and stuff from back in the day, isn't it?
Yeah. I just said it's going to date it terribly because they're personalities of their time. You know, that's the thing. You know?
Yeah. Yeah. Gilliam, nice to see you. Alex Jones herself. Is Alex not a radio host in America? No, this one is the host of the BBC's One show that we talk about every now and then here. She's the host on there. She's Welsh. That's all I'm saying. I don't like the One show. What have we got here as well? Jason, hello, Jason. Mrs. Flood, couldn't care more and certainly couldn't care less. OMG, the guest cast. Thank goodness the weather is going to be good. It's not like we need an excuse. Domgo is predicting the first sub 1 million episode. If it is, that would be amazing for in Doctor Who history because that would be awful.
Yeah.
But it's great content for us next week in headlines. John Steed is saying this week's Doctor Who article is next week's chippy paper. Yeah. And Digital Pollution telling us, I don't know if I can watch another one. I feel like that. We're only so many. What's this episode 4, did I say?
4, yeah.
God.
We're not even halfway through yet. We're going to be halfway through tomorrow, yeah.
It does feel so much longer.
Yeah.
Demorpin is saying, oh, God, not Joel Dommett. I can feel the cheese from all the way across the pond. And Juliana's saying, is that the masked singer fella? Yes, it is.
Yeah, him. Yeah,
that's him. Yeah. Peter Harrington. Oh, not Joel Dumbit. He's a laugh. And Derek Hart in JNT's time, we were like having Ken Dodd or Hale and Pace.
Compared to what I've got now, these guys are amazing. Ken Dodd certainly is anyway. But
yeah, this is extreme stunt casting. And as Paul said, and as I've said before, this dates it. I mean, you look back at something now like Doomsday with those things going on or whatever, and it does date the show. You know, I mean, there's an even one in what's the alien one with the Slovene aliens in London or something?
Yeah, Andrew Mars in that one, isn't he? As a news.
And you've got the then Blue Peter presenter
as well, yeah.
Whose name I've forgotten.
Matt Baker, isn't it? Yeah.
Matt Baker, long gone now, absolutely long gone. What else we got? Spring clean, says Jess. Clearing out the rubbish, is that a hint? Raymond is saying, shooty light, what happens if the ratings go up? Well, nothing.
Well, it happened the last time, didn't it? They went up on 23 yards, 73 yards, not 23 yards. That's much
It
smaller.
did go up, yeah, 73 yards. It did go up.
Yeah.
Extreme stunt casting. I've consulted the runes. The end is nigh, says Legion of James. The runes, yes. And Bill Larry saying to us, Ken Dodd and Nicholas Parsons were excellent in their roles. Surprising, but very good.
Yeah.
It's all going to be very surprising. Don't forget, we are going to be back on Sunday. There it is again. Sunday, the 4th of May, 8 o'clock UK time here on the channel with our review of Lucky Day. Will it be the Doctor's Lucky Day? Will those ratings go up? We'll soon find out, won't we, Paul?
Yeah, they won't go up at all. I'm just saying that now.
Yeah. Legion of James has come back to me saying, sorry, runes, I can't spell. Yes, I thought, as I read it out, I realized you were saying runes, not ruins, but runes. Listen, guys, thank you so much for joining us tonight for your Friday headlines. We are going to be back, as I say, on Sunday for our scheduled show. Keep an eye out. Please subscribe to the channel. Give us a like as well. If you have already subscribed to the channel, please make sure you are still subscribed to the channel. We do appreciate it. And don't forget, not only on Sunday, but if you're a Blake 7 fan, we'll be back on Monday night, Bank Holiday Monday, 8 o'clock, with the next in our reviews of Blake 7 Series 1. And then headlines will be with you next week as well. So busy couple of weeks for you. Paul, thank you so much for being with me tonight.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Enjoy the episode tomorrow. Looking forward to talking to you and the Whotastic panel about it on Sunday.
Enjoy maybe stretching a bit, but I'll do my best.
We'll do our best.
Yeah.
Oh, God, I can't believe we're going to do it again, but here we go. To all of you in the chat, thank you very much for everything. And yeah, we will see you again here on the channel for Lucky Day, the review. Sunday at 8. Thrilled. Good night, everyone. See you soon. Ta-ra.
Bye, everyone. Bye-bye.